father was Jamaican. Her mother was Indian.
You stay away from it. I mean, she is of Indian American and Black descent, and don't get into it. You got plenty of other things that matter to swing voters than to engage in speculation about when she began to identify as Black and when did she previously identify as Indian American. I think he's absolutely wrong on what he's suggesting, but even if he were right, it's a waste of time.
Karl Rove is a Fox News contributor.
It is more important for him to stay focused on the things that will attract undecided and swing voters. And those are the things about her record, what she has said and done that affects the lives of ordinary Americans. Here's a woman who was part and parcel of an administration that lit the fire of inflation and drove up the cost of living for every single American. Inflation was rising at less than 2% a year when Donald Trump left office, and then rose up to 8%, and today is nearly 4%. And here's a woman who was charged by the administration with solving the root causes of illegal immigration, and illegal immigration exploded on the watch of the Biden-Harris administration. This is a woman who was part and parcel of a weak foreign policy that invited our adversaries to take on our friends and neighbors. And so better to spend his time on the things that really matter to voters, because he doesn't have a heck of a lot of time left to convince those people. When President Biden withdrew from the race, gave a lot of despondent Democrats a chance to get excited, and they're getting excited about Kamala Harris. And he's got to find a way to make clear to swing voters who are still up for grabs that while she may be better than Biden when it comes to mental acuity and physical stamina, she's as bad as he was on the issues.
You know, one of the things that came up on stage at the NABJ, and it's come up in recent days, as you know, is Ohio Senator JD Vance as the vice presidential pick. Some of the comments he's made, yes, about abortion, but more importantly about this cat lady's comment that the Democratic Party, if they are in charge, is essentially leaving the future of the country in the hands of childless cat ladies. This was a point of contention also at the NABJ. And I'm just wondering, the former president's response on Wednesday was, look, JD's a family guy. He's like, you're going to have to ask him his response, for more clarity, but he really believes in family. Does Trump need to do more on this, or does JD need to do more on this?
Both of them do. And Trump sort of gave an invitation to Senator Vance to sort of soften the edges of this. And instead he hardened him when he went on with Megyn Kelly. Look, if you are a woman who says, you know what, I just haven't been able to find time in as I sought a professional career to have children, or worse, women who cannot conceive, and his basic thrust is you're not as worthwhile or as worthy a person as somebody who has children. I mean, look, it's one thing to herald families. It's one thing to say we want to encourage strong families in America because a growing, dynamic American population is good for our country and good for our economy. And stable families are part and parcel with stable, peaceful communities. And we want that. It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to start condemning people who may be childless for reasons beyond their control. And that's what that comment about, childless cat people meant. Now, look, I'm a dog guy, so I get the dog thing. But rather than picking the negative side, pick the positive side. I mean, if asked to, I'm not going to attack cats, but I am going to advance dogs. And JD Vance ought to figure that out too. Don't castigate or cast aspersions on women who don't have children. Herald strong families and say we want to encourage everyone who chooses to have a family. We want to make it easier for them to have a family and raise a family and provide for their families by having a strong, prosperous economy that's welcoming and open.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's a perfect opening to discuss the declining rate of Americans having children, and why that is, and what you can do to address it. But Karl, we see the rallies, we see the momentum, we see the memes. Most importantly, we probably see the polling. And I'm just wondering, what do you make of how Vice President Harris went from polling below President Biden to surging in this way? I haven't heard any analysts sort of people like to say like, oh, the media just, is on her side suddenly. But what is it?
No. Well, that helped. But look, the main thing was a sense of relief. Do you think Democrats were blind to what we all saw as a country in that first presidential debate? Do you think that young people and blacks and Hispanics and Asian Americans and the so-called coalition of the ascendant that propelled Barack Obama to office, that they were blind to the mental acuity and physical stamina of President Biden. And do you think they didn't see the decline? Yes, they did. And so one of the things that explains why people are enthusiastic today was the Democrats were so depressed about what they had before July 21st. As soon as he got out of the race, she wisely stepped forward, quickly got everybody in the camp, but she benefits most of all from from Democrats who were despondent about their chances given the circumstances surrounding President Biden. That they're enthusiastic that they got a candidate who can string together two sentences and has got some energy and seems to be with it. They're not some 81-year-old guy who's going to be 82 by the time of the inaugural got reelected. So it's not that Trump is doing so badly. It was Biden was doing so terrible that when you swapped him out, the normal enthusiasm of ordinary Democrats returned.
Is what the Harris campaign doing now, is it smart? She's now not against fracking. She's now not against health insurance. She is now for spending money on the border. Like, do swing state voters take her at her word then or now? Are campaign promises more binding than past positions?
Well, it really depends on how Trump handles it. First of all, look, she's done a lot of useful things for her candidacy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. First, she grabbed the Biden campaign apparatus and made it her own. She grabbed and staged the endorsement of party leaders in a powerful way. She had enormous success in fundraising because she wisely understood that Democrats, given a new alternative, would immediately begin to respond. And she took that grassroots enthusiasm and gave it a way to express itself. This idea of having Zooms where various groups would call together like-minded people was brilliant. And she has also handled her vice presidential search and introducing us to a variety of people in a very short time frame. And she's done all of that well. And she has, as you say, started to shed some troublesome views. But she can't get away from those views entirely. And she's got to be careful because, she can't sort of say too many things I've changed my mind on. Otherwise, people start doubting. They start thinking she's political about everything. Right. The answer is for the Trump campaign to deliberately go after one thing at a time and pound away. And they've started to do this with this new ad, which I think is pretty effective, that attacks her on the border. But the key is going to be that ads enough are not going to be, they're not going to be enough. They've got to back this up. What's the advantage? Has she been running ads? No, she's been talking to the earned media and setting, the newspapers and cable TV and network.
They have to debate, right, Carl? They have to debate.
Well, they have to debate, but in the run-up to the debate, the Trump campaign has to frame her as a San Francisco, radical, and do so by substantive attacks on substantive issues, and remind people who she said she was, and force her to say, "Well, I've changed my mind on that." When I said defunding the police or starting, getting rid of ICE and starting it from the ground zero. No, I didn't really, I've changed my mind. Get her to start saying she changed her mind on all these troublesome things. And people on the left are going to say, you know what, she isn't really with us. And ordinary people that are up for grabs in this election, the low propensity turnout and low information swing voters are going to say, wait a minute, she's changed her mind for politics. I can't trust her.
Okay, lastly, Carl, it's already August. Early voting is 6-7 weeks. That's very soon. If this is a honeymoon period, can it last all the way till early voting starts? In other words, is the timing here very much in her favor, moderately in her favor?
Moderately in her favor. She's handled this initial period well. She's got to have a good rollout of her vice president. People have got to look at that person and say, good choice. That person could be president if something bad happened to her. I think her judgment is good. Her numbers rise. She's got to have a good convention. It can't be disrupted by huge mobs of people trying to invade the convention center over the issue of Gaza. If they do, she has got to turn it into a Sister Souljah moment. She has got to say, you know what? This is wrong. Israel has a right to exist. We can all be worried about the lives of innocent civilians, but what you are doing is standing up for a terrorist group that on October 7th murdered innocent people, raped and murdered innocent people, and today still has American citizens held as hostages in its tunnels. And she has to have a social moment. And then finally, it needs to have in my opinion, she needs to be able to come out of that convention. Look, Labor Day is sort of the time when people start to lock in their opinions, and it's where we start making judgments about who's ahead and who's not. She needs to come rolling out of that convention, which starts on the 19th, runs the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of August. On the 23rd of August, she has got to come rolling out of that convention and have basically 8 days of activity where people say, wow, where they say she's got big crowds, she has a message, she and her running mate are hitting their marks. I understand why it's important to elect her. And when I get to Labor Day, boy, I'm convinced. On the other hand, Donald Trump has the difficulty of, he also during that period of time has to raise big questions about her in the battleground states so that he limits how much a bounce or a bump she gets out of the convention. And so that this race is basically tied on Labor Day. And then he has to be prepared to have a good debate performance to regain the momentum. Between now and the time that her convention ends, it's going to be hard for him to have the dominance of the media like he has had thus far.
Carl Rove, thank you so much for those insights. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
News
All the
Talk
best.
STL at 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent, with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and he can't take it with him. Well, I went to work and found Ray, who's 40 and takes medication to control his high blood pressure, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. That's way more coverage for a lot less than what he was paying. If Select Quote didn't shop for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote and to find out how much you can save, call 1-800-403-5050. That's 1-800-403-5050. 1-800-403-5050. Or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Summer congestion got you down. Whether it's allergies or a summer cold, being congested can ruin your whole day. You feel tired and run down, like you're missing out on summer fun. At Navage, we're here to make breathing easy, easier. Navage uses patented gentle suction technology to help clear out allergens, dust, and mucus without drugs. In just 30 seconds, you'll be on your way to a better day. Get Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, Sam's Club, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or online at Navage.com. Navage. Breathe better, fast.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUD.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
We'll speak with Steve Bucci from Heritage on the Israeli assassination of terrorist leaders. And at 5:25, we'll speak with Rick Stream, director of the St. Louis County Elections.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Biden's border crisis, China buying our farmland, Sam Page disrespecting our seniors. We're under attack. It's time to fight. I'm David Gregory. I created a law that authorizes Missouri to detain illegal immigrants. I've never voted for China to buy Missouri farmland, and I sued Sam Page to give our seniors their tax freeze. I'm David Gregory. I'm already fighting for you as your next state senator.
Paid for by Gregory from Missouri. Joe Garavaglia, treasurer.
How are your windows doing this summer? Are they keeping the hot air out, keeping the cool air in? If you have any doubts at all, once you get a hold of Window World, simply the best for less. Give them a call today, 314-993-1800. Tim Jones here to tell you how awesome Window World is. One of only 2 window companies in the entire country that carry the coveted Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They've got a lifetime warranty, covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor, a double strength of glass, incredibly thermally efficient. For the first time ever, offering 0% financing plans up to 36 months. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. WindowWorld.com. WindowWorld.com.
Tired of talk about election integrity? Shane Scholler takes action. As the chief election authority in one of Missouri's largest counties, Shane's proven plan stops non-citizens from voting and secures our elections. A lifelong conservative, Shane stands firm, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and ready to protect your vote on day one. Don't just talk about stopping fraud. Elect someone who's done it. Shane Scholler for Secretary of State. Learn more at shaneforsos.com.
Paid for by Scholler from Missouri, Justin Hill, Treasurer.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
Every day, something new.
News, analysis, and opinion.
I'm going to sound the same warning now that I have been for years. She is unfit and unqualified to be our president and commander-in-chief.
As they lecture you and I on democracy, they literally just trashed 14 million Democrat primary voters.
We are the most unified party I think that's ever existed.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Couldn't be easier because everything's ready to go in the app. Just say,
Alexa, play news from Fox.
In Fox News.
It's the latest when you need it on demand from Fox News and Amazon Alexa. You're listening to the Fox News Rundown. More coming up.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com. Colombo and Company.
The Harris campaign just unveiled a confusing strategy. We'll talk about it, plus preview Tuesday's elections on Thursday with Crane Durham, Rep. Justin Sparks, and Dr. Randy Tobler.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Are you ready for positive change in Jefferson County?
Hi, I'm Billy Crow, and I'm running for Jefferson County Council because I believe in a brighter future for our community. I spent my life working hard and listening to the needs of our neighbors. Together, we can build better schools, safer neighborhoods, and a stronger local economy.
Billy Crow has always been there for our community.
I trust Billy to bring fresh ideas and real solutions to Jefferson County.
Vote for a leader who cares. Vote Billy Crow for Jefferson County Council.
I'm Billy Crow, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Friends of Billy Crow. Joyce Jenner, Treasurer.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, you can now watch new episodes of the No Spin News live on Samsung TV Plus. Tune in each weeknight at 8 p.m. on the First TV for breaking news, honest analysis, and the best election coverage in America. Please join me, Bill O'Reilly, at the First TV, now available on Samsung TV Plus. Start watching today on your Samsung television, Galaxy devices, or the Samsung TV Plus mobile app. Check out the No Spin News each weeknight at 8 p.m. on the First TV, Samsung TV Plus. On this Thursday, Anita Dunn has left the White House. Chances are you don't know who she is, but President Biden has trusted her advice and judgment for years. Upon announcing her departure, she thanked Joe Biden for all he's done for the American people. I expected that, but it got my analytic mind revved up. So what has the Biden administration, featuring Vice President Kamala, done for me exactly? First of all, I'm not doing an ego exercise here. I'm a hardworking, honest American who gives a lot to charity, helps my kids, tries to be a good neighbor. That's my profile. I think I share that with much of my audience, perhaps even with Anita Dunn. Let's see. My food and gas bills are up significantly on Joe Biden's watch. Car and house insurance premiums are now officially insane. Social order in New York City, just 10 miles away from me, has collapsed. My taxes are painful, and they never end. Despite that, Joe Biden is adding $1 trillion to the national debt every 6 months. Despite the massive government spending, a new report says the U.S. military is not strong enough to sustain a war with China. Drug addiction is surging on Long Island as Biden's open border policy assures plenty of fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin to kill people. Dope dealers are considered low-level criminals. I could go on, but I don't know what Joe Biden has done for me. Are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We have a chance for a few storms in the morning, kind of isolated, but they could be heavy. A low of 81, otherwise warm and muggy. A high of 96, heat index 103 to 107. Something that could make it a little cooler is a few storms possible in the afternoon, anywhere from noon through about 7 o'clock. Chance for a couple storms, an isolated severe storm. By Friday, a high of 90. It's not as hot, it's not as humid, mostly sunny skies, but there is a 20% chance for a shower or storm in the afternoon. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
I heard the call to serve, so I answered. I earned a title and discovered my purpose. I found belonging, an unbreakable bond with my fellow Marines. We fought to overcome adversity together in defense of our nation and its people. I've lived a full life, rich with meaning. And even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine. My service has come full circle. I will always look after those around me. I will always uplift and support my country and my community. Because that is the promise I made. That is what it means to be a Marine. Semper Fidelis. Always faithful, always Marine.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL. For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Well, the doors just opened here at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon. Come on by, seriously, on the way to work, or even if it's not on your way to work. We're just off Route K. Love to see you. Gabe and I are here. Grab some coffee. I'm enjoying this breakfast sandwich, not going to lie, right now. So come and check it out and join us while we do the entire show today from PJ's Coffee here in O'Fallon. All right, elections, man, they're just days away at this point. But don't forget, on the Illinois side of the area, yeah, it's not a huge election day there on Tuesday, but there's so much happening with the Democrats coming to Illinois for their national convention. What a weird one that's going to be. especially when you consider that JB Pritzker is kind of in the talk for bigger things, possibly with Kamala Harris's campaign. And, well, the Illinois Freedom Fighters still trying to limit government and just fighting a battle where they're just outgunned politically like you wouldn't believe. Collin Mosley, the executive director of the Illinois Freedom Caucus, joined us on Wednesday's program, gave us kind of the update on what's next in their effort to protect your freedoms, and also what the Democrats can look forward to when they show up in Chicago this month. Here's what he had to say.
Collin, good to chat with you. Just saying the words Vice President JB Pritzker kind of gives the wrong feeling throughout our bodies, but this is actually possible. He's never listed in the media as like one of the top contenders, but I could see why Kamala Harris would want somebody like Pritzker. He's a pretty smooth public speaker. He's from the Midwest. And, he's got billions of dollars, too. So he's kind of somebody that would keep the fringe left really happy as well. So, I mean, I don't think he's at the top of the list, but my guess is he's on the list. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The problem with JB Pritzker is the only reason why anybody would actually consider somebody like him is simply because they know that along with JB Pritzker comes an endless checkbook. Mm-hmm. And Kamala Harris is going to need that to beat Donald Trump. So I think Pritzker is absolutely not a front runner as he would probably like to be for this seat. But I believe that anything is possible. JB Pritzker could very easily buy his way right into the vice president seat. And truthfully, there's nobody that makes more sense if you think about the fact that, JB Pritzker and Kamala Harris are lockstep in the idea of who better to be the border czars VP than Sanctuary State JB Pritzker,
Oh man. Good morning, Collin. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So speaking of the DNC here, they're looking to jump into Chicago in August. That's going to bring some great new business to the area, right?
And there's a great history with the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So
right?
Let's go back to 1968. Never mind.
Oh wait, we probably don't want to do that.
So well.
So what are you anticipating seeing when they finally get to town?
Well, the number one thing that I think we're all worried about is safety. There was a report that came out, it's been a couple of weeks ago now. I mean, Chicago PD can't hardly even handle the call volume they have right now, let alone whenever you've got all these extra people in town. The report that I read has basically said, look, if you're in Chicago, just don't call the police. Don't call for an ambulance. Don't call for Chicago Fire because it's about 50-50 whether or not you're going to get a response. And so I think the mayor or somebody said something to the effect of, we're going to really try to encourage people to, limit their use of these resources or whatever, because people can, control that, right? But it's going to be an absolute dumpster fire. I mean, you're going to have people that need law enforcement, that need medical attention, and it simply is not going to come. And but that's just on a normal day with the DNC in town, let alone. God forbid if something was to happen up there, it's going to be a nightmare. I don't know anybody that I've talked to personally that's excited to be there. They're mostly just afraid for their life to have to go up there.
We've seen leftist protest GOP groupings, but also they're not above getting in the way of their own people. So are you expecting some, the really far left groups like the Just Stop Oil or the Ceasefire Now people to show up there and cause a ruckus as well?
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I think you'll see all those people. I think you'll see the pro-Palestinian people. I think you'll see the streets lined with the pro-choice people. About every group you can imagine, I'm sure will be up there. And of course, I would imagine there'll be counter-protesters. And then the cherry on top is going to be, the inevitable fact that you're probably going to have several hundred or thousands of migrants wandering around the area too.
Well, that was my question, is because if there is a city in the heartland that is a glowing example of far leftist policies, it's Chicago. So they're going to basically, for a week or so, live right in the middle of the results of all of these policies. But I bet you don't see that on the national media.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I don't know why it would be any different than it is now. They want to ignore this reality. But it's sort of lost some of the headlines right now because of everything going on with the White House race. But this is still a problem. I mean, the migrant issue, the mayor and the state of Illinois, they are still at it every day over where we're going to put these people, how much money we're spending. This problem hasn't gone away just because there's new headlines. We're still spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these people. We're still dealing with new people arriving. We're still dealing with, as we approach now school, as we approach August, Chicago Public Schools has come to the state of Illinois multiple times already and said, hey, look, we need more money to be able to house and educate and feed, et cetera, these migrant children. So it's not going away. It's still very much a problem. And I think that you're going to see it flare up again as you have all of these national leaders right in the heart of, the People's Republic of Illinois, Chicago.
Good morning, Colin. Stout Ponticus here. So looking back, and for me, I'm doing this as a Chicago kid too. JB was Mr. Mask, Mr. Lockdown, Mr. Mandate, Mr. Sanctuary City. Now you have the, as you mentioned, for the school system up there, Chicago Public Schools are working on a $9.9 billion budget. $9.9 billion, which is bigger than some countries. Gabe even looked it up for me the other day. Some countries have smaller budgets than the public school system up there. I mean, he's a controlled type of guy. As my mom used to say when I was a kid, he gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I didn't know if you felt the same way. I'm guessing that you do. I don't like the idea of him being even in the running for VP.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, it would be an absolute travesty. I mean, basically what would be happening is we would be taking everything wrong with Illinois, everything that's been made worse in Illinois over the last 4 or 5 years, and duplicating it across the entire country. And, JB Pritzker and his Illinois Democrats have this horrible denier syndrome. They deny that Illinois is losing population. They deny that we're broke. They deny that education is broken. They deny that we have an illegal immigration issue. They're natural resource deniers. And so we take this entire syndrome of this denier syndrome all the way out to Washington, D.C. Yeah, I don't think that spells very good things for the future of the United States.
We're visiting with Collin Mosley from the Illinois Freedom Caucus, and Ed on our Rumble chat box, who is from Illinois, just said, as much as we want him to leave Illinois, that's not the way to do it, which makes a lot of sense. So, Collin, let's talk about the upcoming elections here. I mean, obviously, Illinois, blue state, likely going to go to Kamala Harris. But when you look at the legislative races, is there a possibility of enough of a pushback in other parts of the state that you could maybe even grow your ranks in the Freedom Caucus, much less make some gains for Republicans in the Assembly?
Absolutely. Well, just to touch on that individual's point about JB Pritzker leaving Illinois, unfortunately, I suppose the only fringe benefit of that for us is that JB can no longer afford to spend 80% of his money right here in Illinois. History shows us that we can win even being outspent 2-1. It's a lot harder to win being outspent 7 or 8-1. Yes, I think the answer is absolutely yes. We've got 5 or 6 districts, just off the top of my head that I know of, that we have some very serious candidates in swing districts. And when you couple that along with the fact that everyone expects Donald Trump to perform even better than he did in 2020, that makes a difference for a lot of these seats. And I think you could see us add a handful of seats to the state legislature, which is really what we need to do. We have got to kneecap their extreme left agenda in the General Assembly, because right now they are just the Illinois House and the Illinois Senate is simply the lapdog of our governor, and we have got to put a stop to that.
All right, Collin Mosley from the Illinois Freedom Caucus. Real quick, next round of legislative work in the Assembly. What's going to be the top of the Freedom Caucus's agenda? I mean, you guys, I've compared you. You've heard me say it before, comparing you guys to Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill because you've got such a challenge there, but you're still pushing. So once the Assembly reconvenes again, what's that one thing that's going to be top of the radar for you?
We are scheduled for 2 weeks of veto section already in November, and I hope that we're walking in there with Donald Trump as the president-elect of the United States of America. And if we do that, there's a little more umph behind us. The 2 big things that we're going to continue to push back against are, as we discussed, this illegal immigration issue. And the other issue is the state of Illinois is spending billions of dollars on this electric vehicle the green energy package, it's a joke. And we're spending billions of dollars in taxpayer resources. We're giving hundreds of millions of dollars in subsidies to Chinese-owned businesses that hate us. And this is tax money coming out of the pockets of working families. So that's our second biggest priority this fall and spring, is to put a stop to the madness.
Got the first morning news dump of the day coming your way here in just about 2.5 minutes. And of course, it's going to be coming your way from PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon. Come on out, say hi, pull up a chair, have a cup of coffee with us. We're hanging out here until 9 o'clock right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Let the American people see what's going on here.
News Talk STL.
Pay close attention.
St. Louis is number one.
Bottom line is this: St. Louis is number one
for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
By now, you've heard Adam Schnelting's false attack ads. Don't buy his lies. Adam Schnelting says he opposes the transgender agenda, but he's trying to conceal the truth. Schnelting has received more than $71,000 from liberal trial lawyers. Those same trial lawyers supporting Schnelting also gave over $100,000 to a liberal group that supports men playing girls' sports, supports men using girls' bathrooms, and even supports gender mutilation surgeries for minors. To make matters worse, Adam Schnelting says he supports our gun rights, but he's received thousands from leading anti-gun lawyers that filed a massive lawsuit against gun makers and gun owners. But that's not all. These liberal lawyers don't just fund Adam Schnelting's campaign, their anti-gun lawsuits, or the transgender movement. They've also been leading funders of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and even the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. Adam Schnelting. With friends like that, conservatives just can't trust him. On August 6th, don't forget Adam Schnelting. He's loved by liberals, and he lies like one too.
Gladius PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Gladius PAC, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
For over half a century, Joe Bacardi's has been serving up a little taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned since 1971, we're more than just a restaurant. We're a local landmark. With 4 convenient locations, we offer something for everyone, from our famous pizzas to mouth-watering entrees and delicious salads. Dine in with a glass of wine or grab a quick carryout. Whether it's dinner for 2 or catering for a crowd, Joe Bacardi's has you covered. Visit joebacardis.com and join our loyalty program. Joe Bacardi's, where every meal ends with buon appetito.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here. Join me every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL for a little fun with finance. We'll talk about taxes, the economy, finance, and most importantly, how to enjoy the lifestyle you deserve.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tune in on Sunday and visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of my book, The New Holistic Retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com.
Serenity Now! Southern Armory, your hometown gun store. Come and be more than just a customer. Southern Armory, we carry the best guns, holsters, knives, magazines, ammunition, and even food storage. Special orders are welcome. Southern Armory, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, 9901 Watson Road, and southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Whether you're purchasing your first firearm or adding to your collection at Southern Armory, you're more than a customer, you're part of the family. Follow Southern Armory on Facebook or at southernarmory.com.
My friend, death is certain. Are you prepared? Larry Connors here. I don't want to scare you, but your funeral plans are an important conversation you need to have with your spouse, family, other loved ones. My friend Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial can help find you an affordable, final expense life insurance policy, regardless of your health condition. You could qualify up to $30,000 of lifetime coverage. Life insurance plans with Senior Memorial also offer living benefits towards hearing and diabetic supplies, access to a 24-hour teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones. Call my friend Benjamin at Senior Memorial and discover your legacy at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Well, it turns out that, yes, we do negotiate with terrorists after all. And Donald Trump is accused of, all right, anybody want to guess? What's he been accused of?
Racism.
Yes, you got that right. How did you get that on the first try? And the newest St. Louis Cardinal has a storybook debut. Time to dump some news on you here.
The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The Morning News Dump.
Top of the morning to you from PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon. We're going to be here until 9 o'clock. I'm Mike Ferguson. We've got Gabe Pfeiffer here as well. Stel Ponticus running things in the studio in Maryland Heights. Okay, the United States under the Biden and Harris administration has reached a plea deal. Gabe, they've reached a plea deal with 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and two other defendants, the ones who planned the attacks in 2001 against the Twin Towers and the others, Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C. as well. We've cut a plea deal with them.
I didn't know a deal was on the table. My assumption was that as soon as we could, we would put these guys in the ground, which is where they belong.
Right. We thought their heads were going to be on the table.
Yes.
But no.
20 years later.
The pretrial agreement takes the death penalty off the table for Mohammed, for Walid bin Atash and Mustafa al-Hawsawi. The letters to the families of 9/11 victims have been informed, and the Department of Defense has announced that in a press release last night. And so all three men have agreed to plead guilty to all charges, including the murder of 2,976 people. And as a result, they get to continue to breathe the air that was made for you and I.
Yes. Oh, and we continue to feed them and house them.
Yes.
On the nation's dime there. So none of it is good to me.
No. And so we've gone from we do not negotiate with terrorists to let's make a plea deal with the people who murdered thousands of Americans.
Now, typically, as I understand it, plea deals are for when the verdict is in question. There's some other things going on. There's some mitigating circumstances. Why was a plea deal even on the table? That's my main question.
I think it's completely 100% ideology.
There it is.
And politics. That's all it is. All right. In other news along these lines, U.S. State Department holding a press briefing on Wednesday discussing the Israel-Hamas war. And of course, this is following the death of two Hezbollah and Hamas leaders. Deputy spokesperson Vedant Patel for the U.S. State Department responds to reports that the United States is warning Israel not to attack Beirut.
We are continuing to urge restraint to all parties to avoid an escalation into a wider regional conflict. And as the Secretary said in Singapore, the United States was not involved in the attack in Tehran.
But he always does the whole, but we support Israel and their right to exist. We just don't want them defending themselves or being aggressive to go kill the people who are trying to kill them or planning to kill them.
Yeah, the constant lip service, which stands completely diametrically opposed to their actions, is getting on my nerves.
Yeah. And on Fox News' America Reports, U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, Republican out of Arkansas, he had this to say in response.
The most important thing is not getting to a ceasefire or managing escalation. The most important thing is helping Israel defeat its terrorist enemies, who are our enemies as well.
Yeah, that's a concept that's been lost on so many people, you know?
Yeah, this administration doesn't recognize any of that.
Okay, we're going to talk about this in more depth in a few minutes. Did you see those clips from Donald Trump, the National Association? Oh,
I did. I was following this just a little bit. I had other things going on that evening, but I wanted to keep my finger on the pulse, and it was spectacular.
Okay, so I'm just telling you right now, 6:20.
Yeah.
Normally, we have a couple of topics at 6:05, but that's not enough time. I want to do the whole discussion at 6:20. So get ready.
We need a little room
to let me know. Send me comments on social media and stuff. I got to check on whether the phone lines get patched through when we're out on location like this, but social media for sure. All right. Former President Trump was doing a Q&A at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago. And he's, of course, trying to reach out to black voters nationwide. And he's making the argument that his policies helped the economies in black communities.
I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs.
Okay, so that's not what's in the headline. By the way, he also did talk about funding for historically black colleges and universities as well, but that's not what's in the news today.
Yeah, I think something else probably hit the news cycle a little harder coming out of that
so
event.
620. I mean, basically, he walked out on stage, and the moderator, the host, the woman from ABC News who was questioning him, basically said, "Okay, you're here. Why are you such a racist a-hole?"
Yes.
Basically is how she started the entire conversation.
You're racist. Explain yourself.
Yeah.
That was the question.
All right. Well, and Donald Trump did say, I will argue he did say something dumb too. So we'll get into that a little bit. All right. Lawmakers still calling for more accountability at the Secret Service as investigations into the Trump assassination attempt continue. On the Faulkner Focus on Fox, Senator Marsha Blackburn said there's a lot of questions still unanswered.
We still do not know who it is that cleared President Trump to take the stage at 6 o'clock when for an hour they knew they had a suspicious person. And at 5:51, they knew they had a potential threat.
The acting director of the Secret Service says nobody's getting fired until the investigation is complete, which I'm okay with.
I would like
as there's accountability.
I'd like people to be suspended at least.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, if a police officer is involved in a shooting that's not so
You
great,
suspend them.
Yeah, you suspend them.
All right, the Cardinals whooped up on the defending world champions 10-1, making his major league debut as pitcher Michael McGreevy. First game in the major leagues. He pitches 7 innings, only gives up 1 earned run, 5 hits, gets the win over the defending champions.
Drugs, illegal immigration, crime. There's no law and order, and a crisis at the border. That's the Joe Biden record. But here in Jefferson County, Sheriff Dave Marshak isn't having any of it. Unlike the hug-a-thug policies of St. Louis, in Jefferson County, Dave Marshak puts criminals behind bars where they belong. Instead of allowing the insane to fund the police movement to win, he's hiring more cops with better pay and actually backing the blue. Illegal immigrants and cartel drugs? Not in Jeffco, amigo. Sheriff Dave Marshak's plan is simple, and it's working. In Jefferson County, crime is down, and Jeffco families are safe.
I'm Sheriff Dave Marshak. Unlike Joe Biden as your Jefferson County Sheriff, we're putting more cops on the street. We're enforcing the law and punishing criminals, and we're sending Mexican drugs back where they belong. On August 6th, vote Sheriff Dave Marshak for Jefferson County Sheriff to keep Jefferson County safe.
Paid for by Dave Marshak Election Committee. Mike Pruno, Treasurer.
Severs JCB has amazing deals on JCB mini excavators ranging from 2 tons to 10 tons. The choice is yours to take 5 on one of these great offers. Take 0% financing for 5 years or take up to a $5,500 cash rebate and 5-year warranty. See terms and conditions for details. These offers are for a limited time, so head to your nearest Severs JCB and check out their full line of JCB construction equipment or visit seversjcb.com.
Friends, Joe Biden's inflation is hitting us hard. Gas and grocery prices are soaring, and our paycheck buys less and less each day. But as your representative, I've fought for lower taxes, cutting wasteful spending, and bringing jobs back to Missouri. I stand for hardworking families, not Jefferson City insiders. I ask for your vote again so I can continue to fight for you. Vote Philip Olerking for State Representative, District 100. Let's make Missouri strong again.
Paid for by Phil Olerking from Missouri, Charles Barker, Treasurer.
Need reliable auto service from people you can trust? Look no further than Western Tire and Auto. For over 15 years, we've been your complete automotive repair center, family owned and operated, with owner Dean Cleathermes bringing 30 years of industry experience. At Western Tire and Auto, you're not just a customer, you're family. We promise 100% satisfaction, treating you with the transparency, respect, and honesty you deserve. Visit us in St. Peters or in Florissant. For appointments, call or check westerntireauto.com. Western Tire and Auto, your local automotive experts since 2008.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL, On a Garage. And we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Republican Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance condemning it as a sweetheart deal with 9/11 terrorists. The senator referring to a plea deal with three of the men accused of plotting the 2001 terror attacks. Under the agreement, they'll plead guilty in exchange for the death penalty being taken off the table. Former President Trump's appearance yesterday before the National Association of Black Journalists devolved into a back and forth over Vice President Harris's racial identity and questions about her qualifications.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be.
Given that President Biden did promise to choose a black woman as his running mate, Vice President Harris a no-show at that black journalist convention. A state funeral in Iran for a terrorist leader killed by Israel. The BBC's Castronaci says thousands turned out in Tehran.
They are genuinely shocked by what has happened yesterday in Iran. Of course, they are supporters of the Iranian regime, Iranian government, but nevertheless genuinely taken back as to what has happened. He was an ally of Iran, an important one, and he was killed right in the heart of the capital, which speaks to a major security failure on the part of Iran's intelligence agency.
And Israel is confirming the death in a Gaza airstrike last month of the leader of the Hamas military wing. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory. Dow futures are up 56 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 89. The S&P futures 22 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain, don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free. It's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Progressive knows when you own a boat, life on land is a tough sell.
Come on down to Land, where you can do things like clean your gutters, pay tolls, and even get the wrong thing you ordered. We got it all. Potholes, people talking at the movies, and don't forget about flat tires when it's raining. It's Land.
Life on a boat is way more relaxing, so customize your coverage with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. And relax, knowing you got the coverage you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Personal report, Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We have a chance for a few storms in the morning, kind of isolated, but they could be heavy. A low of 81, otherwise warm and muggy. A high of 96, heat index 103 to 107. Something that could make it a little cooler is a few storms possible in the afternoon, anywhere from noon through about 7 o'clock. Chance for a couple storms, an isolated severe storm. By Friday, a high of 90. It's not as hot, it's not as humid, mostly sunny skies, but there is a 20% chance for a shower or storm in the afternoon. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Igle. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump endorsed Bill Igle for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
Listen anytime.
It happens
Anywhere.
anywhere.
Everywhere.
Every day continues to bring more news.
With the News Talk STL app. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
All right, a local gym is being accused of letting a man in the women's locker room. Here we are. The national debate comes to the St. Louis area. And it's everywhere right now, so I just kind of want to put it out there and tell you what's being alleged. It's not really being alleged. The dude is going on Twitter himself and saying all this. By the way, Donald Trump shows up to the Black Journalist Convention and is called what?
A racist.
Racist.
I'm going to say it with the rolling R now from now on.
I like that. But it took them basically near record time to go straight from, oh, you're here, you're racist.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
So
Okay,
fast.
I've got the play-by-play recap at 6:20, and if you think I'm kidding about how fast they went right for the jugular.
Oh, there's no exaggeration here.
You can hear it for yourself. So we'll do that at 6:20. All right, real quick, we are at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon off of Route K today. I got Gabe here. Joey V is out here with us. And, of course, Stell is making everything happen in the studio of Maryland Heights.
Hit the buttons.
Yeah, come on out. Come on out. It's really good. We have already sampled the beignets as we've been waiting all week.
And the breakfast sandwiches and the coffee.
That's
And
true.
My goodness, every single thing is living up to the hype.
It's a lot of fun. We're going to be on here until 9 o'clock. We've got a number of just fantastic guests. You come out and meet and say hi. 7 o'clock, we've got Tony Lovasco, state representative, going to be here. 7:35, congressional candidate Bob Onder is going to be here at PJ's Coffee with us. So if you want to meet Bob, you want to say hi, come on out.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, we've got more in the 8 o'clock hour as well. But please come out, say hi. We're having a lot of fun. Just come out and join us. Okay, so here's what's going on. We've got national reports now, including, Libs of TikTok has picked up on this, and Not the Bee has picked up on this, and Greg Price, who does a lot of freedom work around the country. He used to be with the Freedom Caucus. They're all picking up on the story now that the Lifetime Fitness in Ellisville. This is what they're accusing. They're saying that there's a dude who's gender confused and weird. And I looked at this guy's Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's beyond out there.
Yeah.
But that they are enabling a man in the women's locker room out here. So when you look at the story itself, and like I said, I looked up this guy's Twitter account, which I will probably never be the same again after doing.
Yeah, they don't make eye bleach.
No,
so you can't.
It's
you can't fix
because it's not even just that he's one of these dysphoric people who claims that he's a woman when just doesn't. It's not that he's just out of reality. It's like he is divine. He is a god, and he types it in so much. I actually think he believes it. He's clearly divorced from reality.
Well, sure. I mean, it's kind of par for the course, isn't it?
Right.
Because if you've already divorced reality from your existence, your
Right.
biological existence, so I guess it's not so many steps further to declare yourself some sort of spiritual higher being as well.
Right.
Especially given the narcissism that seems to run rampant through the quote unquote community of such folks.
Well, precisely. And he goes on to say that somebody complained. He went to Lifetime Fitness. These are his claims that he went to the Lifetime Fitness Management in Ellisville. And he says that they are standing with him and that they are going to try to educate their other members. Now, that's his claim.
Yes.
But here's the thing, is the blowback has been rough enough already that Lifetime Fitness, their national Twitter X account, they've already protected and blocked all of their tweets.
Oh, wow.
So if you go on and look at them right now, you can't see anything at all. You can't comment. You can't ratio them. So
they suspended themselves.
They basically suspended themselves.
Oh, wow.
Precisely. So, for instance, on Rumble here, Rebecca, she says, I hope St. Louis stands up against the subjugation of women to mentally ill men putting on woman face. Say no to men in women's locker rooms. I completely 100% agree with that. But it's amazing that how quickly this has spread around, and I'm still trying to figure out if all of this is true. And Lifetime Fitness is not answering questions, by any stretch. So if all of this is true, what is in it for these corporations, knowing that they're going to get hammered? Planet Fitness lost. I mean, it was absolutely brutal what happened to them. Obviously, you go Target, lost billions of dollars. Bud Light continuing to lose billions of dollars. So what is it that they feel like is in it for them? You don't have to be ideological. You don't have to be, you don't have to be getting into a culture war to say, listen, we wish you the best. You're welcome to have a membership here, but sorry, you and that part are not going to be in there with them and their parts.
Yes,
it's just not going to happen.
And it's bad for business, by the way.
Right.
So you would think the business stuff would kind of overrule all, but I think the ideology is serious. I think there is a major aspect of it where the kids in charge who've been fully indoctrinated K-12 education as well as in college feel it is their platform that this, now that they have a job at Planet Fitness or Lifetime Fitness or Bud Light or Target or wherever, that they have a duty and to be on the right side of history. And damn the financial torpedoes, full speed ahead.
Well, it's also because it's somebody else's money you're playing with. That
communists like to play with other people,
right? So, and again, I looked up. Here's how this guy describes himself. And at first, I thought this is satire.
Sure.
I mean, this is somebody who's just got a character. But when you look at what I actually think he believes it. He describes himself as a goddess of strife and discord. CEO of something.
Wow.
Trans femme, whatever that means. Polyamorous saboteur. I mean, it's
oh my
the guy's just weird.
Yes. Self-aggrandizing narcissism at its best. Right.
Yeah. And so let me find the thing that he says a little bit earlier. By the way, he's very proud of living in his Jeep. Here's one from late last night. He says, would it help Christians grok, whatever that means, trans people, if we simply said that sometimes confused angels accidentally put girls' souls in boys' bodies and vice versa?
Okay, so that shows a very deep understanding of Christian theology and understanding of its relationship to the natural world. Yeah, so that, he's not crazy at all.
No, right, but this is who Lifetime Fitness is being accused of allowing into spaces with women and teenage girls as well.
The narcissism comes through in the post that he made about the incident itself.
Right. And that's why I'm scrolling down to get to.
If you read that first sentence, it says, sounds like I caused quite the commotion at the gym by being trans in the ladies' locker room yesterday. Now, by the way, he didn't write it the way I read it.
Right.
If you look at the his Twitter account, you look at the way he describes himself and all these other things, you could almost hear it. You can almost hear the snark in the way. Sounds like I caused quite the commotion at the gym by being trans in the ladies' locker room.
Right.
You can hear it. We've seen all of these videos through libs of TikTok. That's how they speak, right?
Right.
So a woman, very Karen, by the way, confronted me in the locker room this morning saying it was inappropriate for me to be in there. Well, yes, it was. And it's not Karen to point out that, there are little girls in here and you, a dude, are standing in here capable of anything.
Yeah. I mean, what you've got is somebody who's getting his 15 minutes of fame here real quick and wants to kind of subject everybody else to it. And this is one of those cases, where the business is, you would say, well, they're in a no-win situation because if they do the right thing, then they're going to have the activists going after them for that.
Right.
But the reality is that that doesn't affect your bottom line. Not in the Midwest. That's for sure.
Not really. Well,
I mean, East Coast, West Coast, maybe, but not here.
And it's even arguable what the activists are capable of, other than causing social media storms, because you can get 12 people together and make a something trend on Twitter. You can, just because the volume and the speed with which you can post things, it can cause a trend. And that will freak out somebody in the marketing department, but it doesn't amount to anything.
Right.
It doesn't amount to the same thing as what happens when regular folks get a whiff of this and they say, you know what, I'm not gonna support
Not gonna
you
play
anymore.
that game.
I'm not gonna play that game. I'm not gonna spend any money with you.
And you don't have to be like full on right wing, whatever, to say, I'm done. I've had it. This is enough. Let's just get back to reality here. This isn't even just about inappropriate. This is gross.
Yeah.
This is dangerous. You need to knock this off. And unfortunately, we need more businesses willing to do that.
Yeah, well, more institutions as well, because this stuff has even infiltrated the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not just talking about the opening ceremony.
Mhm.
There are two dudes in the women's boxing category beating up on ladies to the cheers of hundreds.
Oh, it was. I watched one of the video clips. The guy was from Taiwan.
Yeah, there's one from Taiwan and one from Tunisia.
Right, and it was bad.
Yeah,
I mean, he was about the same size as the woman he was fighting.
Yeah,
it's a weight class.
Yeah,
it's a weight class situation. But
it's not the same.
The woman was running for her life.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody say, well, hey, she agreed to the fight. Listen, this is the Olympics.
You go to the
assigned
Olympics.
to fight.
What are you going to do?
Right. It's one of those where, did she have a choice? Yeah, she could forfeit and not fight and have to deal with that when she gets back to her country.
But I don't think Olympians are built that way.
No,
to just not.
No.
You know what I mean?
But it was brutal because it was basically just a cat and mouse, predator and prey. There was really nothing she could have done to protect herself, and it looks like he hurt her pretty bad.
Yeah. 100 pounds of man is not the same as 100 pounds of woman.
Right.
It's
All
not.
right. Yep. All right. Let us know what you think here. Watching the Rumble chat box, and Gabe's watching the Facebook and the Twitter, and Stell's watching all that as well. Okay, just ahead here, 6:20. Donald Trump shows up at the National Association of Black Journalists, and it goes about how you would expect.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does. It goes about the way. I've got the audio. Love to know what you think. They go after him with an incredibly stupid line of questioning. I would argue he also in part responded by saying something stupid too. So let's get both sides of that. We'll talk about it right around 6:20 here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL, and we are at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon on Route K. Come on out and say hi. We can both endorse the Southern Pecan flavor coffee. It is absolutely delicious.
Get up, in case you hear the alarm. Get up, this is
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You want to give me more information. You want to take the place of what I trust. Turn your colored box, you look for some answers. For false impressions, well, baby, they will last forever. Stop it right now! I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes!
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
Every day, something new.
News, analysis, and opinion.
I'm going to sound the same warning now that I have been for years. She is unfit and unqualified to be our president and commander-in-chief.
As they lecture you and I on democracy, they literally just trashed 14 million Democrat primary voters.
We are the most unified party I think that's ever existed.
1019 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
All right, when it comes to investing in your home, like I've said before, this is the biggest investment most people make. Make sure that your home is there to protect you, not just look pretty, but actually to protect your family. And that includes your windows. By the way, it also includes your siding for a lot of people, and even the screen doors. And my friends at Window World can do it all. Mike Ferguson here for Window World. They are simply the best for less. All right, here's the number to give them a call. I got a challenge for you. 314-993-1800. By the way, when you call that number, you do not get forwarded to some, call center and God knows where. You're calling your friends in St. Louis, right there off of I-70 in Earth City. Window World, one of 2 window brands in the entire world with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. And as a matter of fact, when the latest Energy Star ratings came out, Window World already surpasses them. They announced them, and Window World was already well beyond them. They are ahead of their time with those double strength glass windows, which means your home is more energy efficient, which means your home stands up to the elements even better. I've known people who have had in severe storms, had their windows crack, have them dislodged, have something happen to them. And then right after the storm, and suddenly you're getting that condensation because those windows were rattled so bad. That does not happen with Window World. These windows are so strong. They come with a lifetime warranty covering all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And here's the best part. They're less expensive. They're made in America. They're custom made for your house, and they are less expensive. So they're less expensive up front. They save you money on the life of your home. And they also have an they have a lifetime warranty that can be sent with your home. You sell your home, that warranty follows it. That's something you can offer to somebody when they're buying your home. So give them a call today. Here's my challenge, 314-993-1800. And just give them a call. Say, all right, Mike was talking about you on the radio. Was he just too caffeinated on PJ's coffee? I don't know, maybe, but he was telling the truth. Tell me about these windows and get that free in-home estimate. They have 0% financing plans up to 36 months with approved credit, so that it's even easier to get a Window World window in your home. Listen, these are St. Louisans. They are not going to treat you to the high-pressure arm-twisting thing. They hate that as much as we do. But give them a call, and they've got somebody there 7 days a week to answer your questions. Set up your free in-home estimate. They'll be in and out in less than 45 minutes, and then it's all on your time. You make the decision when you're ready to move forward. Just let them show you what they can do. 314-993-1800. Get your questions ready. Call them and say, all right, Mike was talking you guys up. I'm putting you to the test. Once again, Window World, 314-993-1800. They are the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
For over 2 decades, Joe Brazel has served St. Charles County with passion and dedication. As your county councilman, Joe has championed smart growth with Proposition S, protected our veterans by stopping military funeral protests, stood against excessive high-density housing, and supported the 2030 Master Plan for controlled infrastructure. Joe Brazel, a true patriot working for you.
I'm Joe Brazel, running for St. Charles County Council, District 2, vote August 6th.
Paid for by Citizens for Joe Brazel, Mike Summers, Treasurer.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby, only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
My name is Justin Sparks, and I am running for re-election to the Missouri House of Representatives, District 110. I have been knocking on thousands of doors, and I want you to know I've heard your concerns. As a former police officer, I heard your concern about the wide-open southern border and wanting to keep our neighborhoods safe. I will continue to fight to protect your Second Amendment, and I will fight to protect the lives of the unborn. I will fight to keep the woke ideology from infecting our schools and affecting our children's future. Go to sparksformissouri.com and tell me what you think, and stand with me on August 6th.
Paid for by Sparks for Missouri, Tim Fitch, Treasurer.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify. Not available in all states.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
All right, fill in the blank. Donald Trump is what?
Racist.
There it is.
You have to say it. You have to say it that way now. I have decreed.
All right. By the way, don't forget News Talk STL. We got the elections coming up. We're going to have the best darn election coverage you can imagine, starting at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. And we're going to be speaking with the candidates. We're going to be analyzing the races, bringing you up-to-the-minute election results throughout the night right here on News Talk STL. Your home for America Decides 2024 election night coverage brought to you by Great Harvest Bread Company in Maplewood, your neighborhood bakery, which is walking distance from my house, if you're willing to walk a couple miles.
More carbs.
There you go. Precisely.
Let's go.
Okay, so we mentioned this yesterday that Donald Trump goes to the National Association of Black Journalists meeting.
Under protest from many of their the members, and I think the co-chair of the convention itself resigned. It's like, hey, I wasn't involved in this decision to invite a presidential candidate to speak to journalists,
right? Which they've been doing for decades.
Yeah,
and there was a protest outside, and there were people who refused to show up. It was really weird. Okay, so Donald Trump gets on the stage, and the first round of questioning is by Rachel Scott from ABC News, and so here's how it started. So here's what I've got her. I would call it a question, but it's not really. It's one of those like, have you stopped beating your wife questions? You know, it's like, have you stopped being a horrible racist, basically type of thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to play her question, then we'll react to that real quick. And then we'll get Donald Trump's answer, because he basically dropped the gloves like on a hockky game.
Yeah. It's like,
and went right into it. So
let's go.
Here's how it started. I mean, literally he is sitting down after being introduced when this happens.
It's not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Okay, there you go. So that's where,
it's definitely a have you stopped beating your wife question.
Yeah,
and now, here's the thing that always gets me about those questions is you start with a litany of accusations, right? And there's no possible way to answer each one of those. It would destroy the entire interview. So you're left in the position is like, okay, how do I answer that question? It's a false premise to start with.
First of all, like the last one there, he calls everybody he doesn't like a loser.
Yeah,
so,
it's like
he is as inclusive and diverse as you can be.
Oh,
everybody's a loser.
Everybody's a loser.
When she talked about him having dinner with a white supremacist at Mar-a-Lago, that part's actually true.
That was an ambush.
That was
He didn't know that guy was coming.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense to me because he's still got Secret Service. How do you just walk up to a former president? But the fact of the matter is that technically speaking, that actually did happen.
Sure, but I mean, of course, it's a mischaracterization.
Yeah. And then the other parts of if you want to call it a question, it's more of the ambush is basically you treat everybody this way, but if you do it to one of ours, we're going to categorize it differently. So here's how Donald Trump responded.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, and I say this, historically Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that.
And then he went on to say, by the way, I came out at your invitation. I was told I couldn't video in, but I noticed my opponent is videoing in, which is what Kamala Harris did.
Yeah, absolutely. He started calling them out on stuff. And it's like you said, it was a gloves off moment. It's like, okay, if you're going to start with this, I'm going to call out you on your garbage that I just had to endure standing back here waiting for you to get your crap together. So it's very much in line with how he would respond. But I I like the fact that he responded with what he did as opposed,
Right.
in contrast to what they accuse him of saying and doing.
Right.
So it is very much a way to break through that sort of setup of a question, because instead of answering each of the accusations, he just says, okay, well, look what I've actually done.
Here's what he understood, just the comms communications guy in me here, is that he understood he was not talking to that audience. He was not talking to that questioner from ABC News. He was talking to everybody who's going to hear the soundbite the next day and everybody who was going to watch it on the news.
That's right.
So basically, he dismissed the woman on the stage.
Yes, exactly. It's like,
called her out, and
I've never heard such a horrible question, but let me tell you something.
And then he basically talked right to everybody who was listening. So
very Reagan-esque in that regard.
I think so.
Now, delivery wasn't Reagan-esque, but you know what I'm saying.
So here's where the rest of the headlines that you're seeing, if you haven't looked at your news feed just yet, this is what you're going to see, because basically he did the, well, she ain't black thing. Okay, so here's how that exchange went.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Which, by the way, that's a stupid question, but that's how it goes.
Yeah.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black
I
woman. She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't.
Okay, so that's
now that last line actually kind of brought it together.
Right.
That,
It did. But that was one where he took the bait. He probably shouldn't have taken the bait. He should have basically said, what a horrible question for you to answer. If you want to know why she's on the ticket, ask the Democrats, by the way, and then go back to what he did before. And of course, that answer has been reframed in the mainstream media.
Oh gosh, yes.
In a pretty brutal way. It wasn't a great answer because he decided to get down kind of in the dirt, in the mud with them on that. But he likes a good slugfest.
He likes a good slugfest. Now I could forgive it in the moment. It sounds like it kind of was a plan to bring this issue up of her kind of running away from the Indian portion that she had been promoting for a bit. But she obviously has identified as black for a long time. She went to Howard University, which is a
black college,
very black college. 7 of my siblings have gone, and my dad went to Howard University, so I get that.
Well, and her father is Jamaican, and by every connotative. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here talking about going, is Kamala Harris black, is really
it's a silly place to be right now.
Let me tell you something, Republicans, you're not winning that argument.
Yeah, and now, like I said, I could forgive it in the moment, maybe of just trying something and it not really working out. But the fact that people are starting to double down on that line of argument within the campaign. I think there are some people who are talking about it in speeches now. It's like, okay, that is not, there are so many lines of questioning or attacking of Kamala Harris's record. You don't need to touch on this race stuff.
Let that go and move on. All right, we are out here at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, just off Route K. Gabe is the one with a little bit of powdered sugar right there on the table.
And caramel.
There you go.
I've gotten over the place. It's on my keyboard now. It's just. But I'm going to live with it.
We're going to be here until 9 o'clock. It's fun meeting people. Those of you who are in the Rumble community, y'all know Laura. Hey, Laura, how are you?
Yep, she's right here.
She's here.
Yep.
Came out to say hi.
That's why she's not in the Rumble
That's right.
chat box.
If you're wondering, Rumble community, if you want to know, hey, where's Laura today? She's here. So you should be too.
Yes.
All right, 314-912-1019. Just ahead here. Let's, first of all, I want to tell you, I can get a discount on your coffee here, but also just ahead here, should we be paying welfare recipients to stay sober?
That's a good question. Also loaded.
Very loaded. But I'll tell you why that question is being asked right just ahead, about 2 minutes on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Put your head on me.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Quick hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point. So now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight. And then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Missourians, our future is under attack. Tax Hike Mike is fixing to devour your hard-earned money with gas taxes galore and another sky-high fee on your next car purchase. Kehoe's policies will flat-out destroy your wallet. His big old bus is fueled by donations from Chinese communists and George Soros surrogates. But there's hope. Jay Ashcroft, the true leader who fights with integrity against the lies, higher taxes, and the Jefferson City swamp. Vote Jay Ashcroft for governor now.
Paid for by Friends of J. Ashcroft PAC. Alexandra Lang, Treasurer.
What's the key to maximizing the value of your outdoor space? Satisfaction. And getting a fence or deck that exceeds expectations with the highest quality, American-made material. And working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. And adding safety and security for your family and pets to play, relax, and entertain. At STL Fenceworks, satisfaction is our core value. Doing it right the first time, standing above the competition. At STLFenceworks.com, your satisfaction is our passion.
Are you tired of establishment politics? Meet Adam Schnelting, your true conservative choice for state senate. Adam Schnelting, husband, father, soldier, and member of the House Freedom Caucus. Adam authored the legislation that ended abortion in Missouri and is the grassroots candidate Jefferson City fears. Unlike his opponent Phil Cristofanelli, who's backed by lobbyists and Democrats, Adam's support comes from right here in St. Charles County. It's time for real conservative leadership. Vote Adam Schnelting for state senate.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC. John Royal, Treasurer.
Tired of talk about election integrity? Shane Scholler takes action. As the chief election authority in one of Missouri's largest counties, Shane's proven plan stops non-citizens from voting and secures our elections. A lifelong conservative, Shane stands firm, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and ready to protect your vote on day one. Don't just talk about stopping fraud. Elect someone who's done it. Shane Scholler for Secretary of State. Learn more at shaneforsos.com.
Paid for by Scholler from Missouri, Justin Hill, Treasurer.
On the next, Larry Connors, USA.
Hamas leader is assassinated. Israel is saying nothing, but Iran is vowing revenge.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Cash payment just for being sober. This is an interesting idea. You mean I've been doing this for free for 52 years?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, hey, I stay sober all the time.
Man, where's our money?
I'm missing out, apparently.
This is one of those where if a conservative suggested the idea, they would be smashed. They would be just criticized like you wouldn't wish.
Yeah, well, of course, we propose it in a less cash unfriendly way too. Right. So there's also that aspect of it. But yeah, here we go.
Okay, so I'm curious what you think about that. We'll get into it in just a couple of minutes here. By the way, we are at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, just up here on Route K. Going to be here until 9 o'clock, and then now joined by John and Jennifer, who own it. The here. Thanks for having us in. This is so much fun.
Of course, absolutely.
And yesterday you were on the phone with us, and you said, "Okay, you got to try the Southern Pecan coffee." It is what you said it was.
It is absolutely.
I'm going for round number 2 here in the next information segment.
Now I can't handle the caffeine, but I wish I could because it's delicious coffee, and I do not have a discerning palate for coffee, but this just tastes good. Yeah, so that's all I need.
Now here's the other thing: is you're actually got a wheel, like a Wheel of Fortune wheel here that you're spinning, and somebody can get a discount just on the spot, or they're going to get something. And This is being provided by Butterfly Kisses Alliance, which I had never heard of until I came in today. So tell me about what this is. I mean, I know that you're partnering with them, but I just thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, hey, get over here. Tell me about this.
100%. And thank you for asking. Yeah. So it's a local group of nurses that have kind of band together to create a nonprofit. And their goal is to say, look, from what we've seen, obviously in the past, women who possibly or have a tough time during childbirth or lose a child during childbirth, someone needs to be there for them, right? And so these band of nurses came together and they provide support for mothers who have lost a child again during childbirth or even maybe shortly after birth. And so it's a very neat concept. They're all local nurses. They're here local in the community. And what they're doing essentially is they are saying thank you to the O'Fallon community for 2 years in business. And this is just their way to say, look, come grab a coffee, get a discount on us. Everyone who spins the wheel at the counter is going to win some type of discount or something. So very neat.
And you can learn more at butterflykissesalliance.org. Yeah, check that out. That was that's such unique because Rachel and I have some good friends who recently had a miscarriage, and so I imagine almost everybody knows somebody who's been through that kind of tragedy.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yep.
Yeah. So you're working with them, and of course we're out here right now, and you can hear stuff going on out here, and this is what's so much fun. I appreciate you, Jen, for having us out here because people are just kind of coming in and out. It's funny because usually when we do a remote, people are like, oh my goodness, radio station here. They're just making a beeline for the counter. They're like, where's my food? Where's my coffee? Where's my drinks? And this is really good stuff.
Yes, we love being able to have this space that people can come in and they sit down. We've got our regulars that come in through the drive-through, and then every now and then they surprise us and come inside and have a chat. But that's what we really wanted with this place, is just for people to walk in, whether it was off the street from next door waiting on their cars to get worked on, or even just passing through. We get a lot of people that just have been passing through for vacation, or they're on their way somewhere else, and we tell them about the other PJ's locations that they can go to across the states, and we love being able to spread the word.
Yeah, just right here off Route K, really easy to find. We'll probably chat again a little bit later on this morning. So John, Jennifer, thanks so much for having us. This is really great.
Thanks. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.
All right. Okay, check this out.
Yes.
This is happening in San Francisco, right?
Okay.
They're calling it cash, not drugs.
Yes, the cash, not drugs thing.
So this is San Francisco mayor and one of their, I think they call them supervisors instead of like city council members or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you're on welfare in San Francisco, what they're proposing is if you are on welfare and you're willing to do a drug test and you clear that drug test, an extra $100 just for you, just for being sober and drug free.
An extra $100,
right?
In addition to the existing that you're receiving already from the government.
So here's the question I've got for you: is if a conservative suggested this, let me tell you what. let me go into the flip test world.
Yes,
it's what you assume everybody on welfare is on drugs. You assume everybody who's poor is on drugs. How infantilizing is this?
How dare you?
But and I'm not even saying that. I mean, I'm leaving it open if it's a good or bad idea.
Sure.
I'm just pointing out the double standard as to the proposal, because London Breed, who's the mayor of San Francisco, basically says this is a cash incentive. They've got such a huge overdose drug problem.
Oh, yes, they do.
In San Francisco, literally like a block or two from City Hall.
Oh yeah.
If you go out there, and so they're trying to provide incentives for people to stay sober and be self-sustaining. And I want those incentives, but is this a good way to do it, or is this just as I heard a state lawmaker in Missouri once accused me of othering the poor, which I don't know what that means.
What is othering the poor?
Yeah.
So no, what's interesting is that what I've been told about dealing with people who have drug problems or alcohol problems or homelessness issues is you just don't give them cash. You don't give them cash.
But you have to pass the test to get the cash.
Yeah, but you can do that if you run out of cash and therefore run out of drugs. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what? I've been clean for a full day because I can't afford my drugs. Give me $100, and they will.
Yeah,
that's really what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from this program.
Yeah.
So and now to the conservative version of this, which is my version of this, you don't get assistance period until you pass a drug test.
So everybody does.
So everybody but that's a whole different story, I suppose. But I don't like this, because it's basically reaching into the taxpayers' pockets and saying, okay, I need you now to subsidize someone's sobriety.
Right. Yeah. And I'm looking at one of the I don't remember which news outlet I found this one here. The adult. Let's see here. What's his name? The name Del Seymour is a founder of something called Code Tenderloin, one of the community leaders. And he says the legislation was made possible by the passage of a recent proposition back in March of this year. That ballot measure requires single, non-senior adults without dependents So unmarried single people with no kids,
right,
to go through screening, evaluation, and treatment for drugs to qualify for most social benefits in the city. All
right, see that's the part that I would support.
Yeah, if the city suspects they're dependent on illegal drugs.
How about just ever?
Because
just all the time. How about that?
Yes.
Because it shouldn't be hard. I guess my problem is, if you are going to ask for assistance from the public,
right?
The public has a right to know how that and what that money's going to, how it's being used, and whether or not you qualify under our. Basically, if I give the money, I get to call the tune.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with this right here, I'm gonna reserve judgment on whether I think the concept is good or bad.
Okay.
I mean, I think any additional dependence on any sort of public assistance is creating dependence. I think it's a perverse incentive. I think it's just a bad way to approach things instead of doing something that is empowering and equipping people.
Right.
And so this right here, it reinforces that if you PO, you own drugs. I mean, that's really what we're talking about.
True.
Here.
True.
And no, I would suspect most people who are poor are not on drugs. But this right here, and can you imagine being somebody who maybe is not on drugs, you're just really in a bad spot, and some city government person says, you know what, you got to go through a screening. We think you might be on drugs.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
If you want my money, maybe. Like I guess maybe I'm okay with at least a portion of the idea. A portion of the idea. But I don't like when governments are put into the position to be nonprofits anyway,
right?
To be charities.
Yeah,
the government is not equipped to be a charity because it necessarily requires bureaucracy, and bureaucracy doesn't care about you.
Right.
Someone who devotes their time and effort to a particular cause, someone who gives up maybe a lucrative private sector job to go and work for a nonprofit that does certain types of work, that person has already got skin in the game. They've decided to make it their problem.
Right.
They care about that issue. They probably care about you. I've seen this in a number of Christian charities. This doesn't work that way with government.
The idea for most nonprofits is the success is working ourselves out of a job because we solved the problem.
Exactly.
And in a government setting, especially like this right here, the person who's hired to administer the program depends on people needing that program.
That's right.
So that's the perverse incentive from an economics perspective. All right, let's dump some news on you here in just about 2.5 minutes. At 7:05, we've got the candidates coming in here to PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon. You want to meet them? You want to say hi? You want to ask them some questions? This is where you're going to have to be. We're going to talk to Tony Lovasco at 7:05 and Bob Onder running for Congress. Man, that's a heated race. Everybody in the state is watching that. Well, Bob's going to be here at PJ's at 7:35. So if you want to say hi, you want to meet him, got a question for him, you got to be here to do it. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Love to spend the night in Zion.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Eigel. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump-endorsed Bill Eigel for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Get ready for a tourism transformation. Candidate for Lieutenant Governor, David Wassinger has a vibrant vision to make St. Louis shine. From the Gateway Arch to Forest Park and beyond, Wassinger is committed to making St. Louis a top travel destination. Meet and hear David Wassinger speak this Thursday, August 1st at 7 p.m. at 3710 Hampton Avenue. Learn more about this free event at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Danny Define here with the Next Gen, all new time this Sunday at 8 p.m. Now pour up a hot cup of coffee and tune back into the Mike Ferguson Show.
All right, it turns out that, yes, we do negotiate with terrorists.
Yep.
And Donald Trump is accused of what?
Racism.
And, of course, the newest Cardinal. This was fun. If you watched this game last night, I actually listened to it on MLB. The newest Cardinal has a storybook debut.
Oh, wow.
It was really cool. All right, it is a 6:50. Gabe and I are at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon. And this is where we're going to dump some news on you right now.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
Okay, this is one of the most angering news stories I've seen in quite a while. You know, for years and years and years, the prevailing thought in the United States, Republican, Democrat, didn't really matter. We do not negotiate with terrorists.
And we were united on that.
We now negotiate with terrorists.
Apparently.
So here's what's happening is the State Department has announced under the Biden-Harris administration that they have reached a plea agreement with the masterminds, the people who literally created and executed the 9/11 attacks.
Yeah.
So here's what's going on.
The guy's responsible.
The one who's known as 9/11 mastermind, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and 2 other defendants have reached a plea deal with the federal government.
How many people thought that they had already been executed?
We would have thought. I mean,
Yeah.
we're literally going on 23, 24 years now on this. So here's what's going on. And this was announced by the Department of Defense last night. The pre-trial agreement takes the death penalty off the table for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who's considered the mastermind, and 2 co-defendants, Walid bin Atash and Mustafa al-Halsawi, in exchange for their guilty pleas, and they are pleading guilty to every charge, including the murder of 2,976 people who were killed in those 9/11 attacks.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that this deal was even on the table. I thought it was basically just a matter of time before we put these guys in the ground where they belong. But for some reason, this administration decided to cut a deal that has no upside for America.
None whatsoever. All right. And in other news regarding the Midwest, the State Department, or excuse me, the Mideast, the U.S. State Department held a press briefing in Washington talking about the Israeli-Hamas war. And this, of course, is following the death of 2 leaders of Hezbollah and Hamas. Principal Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel responds to reports that the U.S. is warning Israel not to attack Beirut, which turns out to be true.
We are continuing to urge restraint to all parties to avoid an escalation into a wider regional conflict. And as the Secretary said in Singapore, the United States was not involved in the attack in Tehran.
I am so sick of hearing Biden-Harris administration officials keep saying restraint, restraint, restraint. You know who gets it right is Senator Tom Cotton out of Arkansas. He was on a Fox's America Reports last night.
The most important thing is not getting to a ceasefire or managing escalation. The most important thing is helping Israel defeat its terrorist enemies, who are our enemies as well.
That concept will go a long way. We used to have that concept, but we don't seem to have that anymore in Washington.
Yeah, everybody wants a very sanitized idea of war. Well, the thing about war is you put your enemy. Wait, you make that other SOB die for his country instead of you dying for yours. Yes, absolutely. We need some patent level thinking now instead of this current gobbledygook.
Yeah. All right. Donald Trump participating in a Q&A session at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago. And, of course, he's making his appeal to black voters. But he was greeted hostilely, to say the least, a little bit on this. But part of his argument and response is that his policies did a lot for the economies of black communities.
I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs.
And another part of his answer had to do with funding for historically black colleges and universities,
which is absolutely significant. And by the way, I have to say the vocal support in the room is significant. I think even though it was relatively small, vocal support within the black community in any space is actually a sea change in the way the politics are done in America.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear the background on that. It really was.
Yeah.
Okay, lawmakers calling for people to be fired at the Secret Service as the investigation into the attempted assassination of Donald Trump continues. On the Faulkner Focus on Fox, Senator Marsha Blackburn says, we've got more questions we need answered.
We still do not know who it is that cleared President Trump to take the stage at 6 o'clock when for an hour they knew they had a suspicious person. And at 5:51, they knew they had a potential threat.
And the acting Secret Service Director, Ronald Rowe, says firings are on the table, but nothing's going to happen until the investigation is complete. Which I actually am okay with. Let's do it right.
Relatively acceptable answer. I would like to see some suspension to say, hey, we've identified individuals that may be looked at, and depending on their answers, yes, they might be fired. But something needs to happen.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Cardinals 10, Rangers 1. That's what happened at Busch Stadium yesterday.
Boom.
Michael McGreevy had his Major League Baseball debut as a pitcher. In his debut, he whooped the defending world champions. He threw 7 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, got the win, only gave up 5 hits over those 7 innings. What a way to start your career in Major League Baseball, by kicking the tail of the defending world champions. The Cardinals have now headed up I-55. They start a series with the Cubs in Chicago today. First pitch is at 7:05, and Sonny Gray is on the mound. State Representative Tony Lovasco going to be with us at 7:04.
Hey, sand volleyball junkies. Feel the rush and show off your skills for our brave first responders. Join the David Dorn Foundation's Top Gun Maverick Sand Volleyball Fundraiser Tournament Saturday, August 31st. Enjoy oh-so-good barbecue from Sugarfire, a splat gun tent for an energy charge, and DJ PZ Montana to keep you entertained. Saturday, August 31st at the Sugarfire location in Wentzville. To protect, to serve, to spike. Sign up today at dornfoundation.com.
Hi, this is former St. Louis County Police Chief Tim Fitch, and I am endorsing Mark Harder for the State Senate Race 15. I know firsthand, Mark has been a strong supporter of our police and first responders. Over the years, we sponsored legislation together to increase funding and equipment for our county police. We worked together to crack down on car and catalytic converter thefts and the proliferation of drugs like fentanyl in our community. Mark Harder is the right choice for voters in West County on August 6th.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder. Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
My friend, death is certain. Are you prepared? Larry Connors here. I don't want to scare you, but your funeral plans are an important conversation you need to have with your spouse, family, other loved ones. My friend Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial can help find you an affordable, final expense life insurance policy, regardless of your health condition. You could qualify up to $30,000 of lifetime coverage. Life insurance plans with Senior Memorial also offer living benefits towards hearing and diabetic supplies, access to a 24-hour teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones. Call my friend Benjamin at Senior Memorial and discover your legacy at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Some 9/11 victims' families are expressing dismay over a plea deal announced by the Pentagon. In exchange for their guilty pleas, 3 men accused of plotting the attacks will be spared death sentences.
The terms of the plea deal have not been released, but U.S. media are reporting that prosecutors sent a letter to the victims' families about the development. The chief prosecutor is reported to have written that the decision to accept the deal was not reached lightly and was the best path to justice. One relative told the New York Post he was disappointed that families wouldn't have their day in court. The White House said the president's office had played no role in the negotiations.
The BBC's Jenny Kumar says men, including terrorist mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, expected to enter the guilty pleas next week. Former President Trump's appearance yesterday before a black journalist convention in Chicago was far from subdued. Things got rather testy when questions surfaced about Vice President Kamala Harris's racial identity, whether she's black or of Indian heritage.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know.
Vermont Governor Phil Scott says the latest storms to hit the state have undone much of the cleanup and recovery work performed since the last major round of flooding only weeks ago. And there are fears that more severe weather could cause still more damage. One person has been killed in a wildfire burning in the Colorado foothills as numerous blazes torch large parts of the West. Body has been found in one of 5 homes that burned in the fire near Lyons, Colorado. Tropical storm Carlotta has formed in the eastern Pacific, although that storm is moving away from Mexico. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are up 17 points. NASDAQ futures 82 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
What does it take for organizations to triumph? It takes trust, but trust is getting harder and harder to gain.
which is why over 2,700 organizations display the ECFA seal. The ECFA seal gives your organization the third-party credibility that people are literally looking for. And in turn, an estimated 14 million givers support ECFA-accredited organizations. Let us help you maintain a trusted reputation as you reach the world for Christ. Visit ecfa.org/
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some quick-hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point, so now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid, too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight, and then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
By now, you've heard Adam Schnelting's false attack ads. Don't buy his lies. Adam Schnelting says he opposes the transgender agenda, but he's trying to conceal the truth. Schnelting has received more than $71,000 from liberal trial lawyers. Those same trial lawyers supporting Schnelting also gave over $100,000 to a liberal group that supports men playing girls' sports, supports men using girls' bathrooms, and even supports gender mutilation surgeries for minors. To make matters worse, Adam Schnelting says he supports our gun rights, but he's received thousands from leading anti-gun lawyers that filed a massive lawsuit against gun makers and gun owners. But that's not all. These liberal lawyers don't just fund Adam Schnelting's campaign, their anti-gun lawsuits, or the transgender movement. They've also been leading funders of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and even the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. Adam Schnelting. With friends like that, conservatives just can't trust him. On August 6th, don't forget Adam Schnelting. He's loved by liberals, and he lies like one too.
Gladius PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Gladius PAC, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
Doing the Kofifi dance on location.
Yes, with actually, at least in my view, yes, the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen.
This is really good.
It's really good.
Gabe and I are out at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, just off Route K. Got Joey V here with us, making it happen. And, of course, Stella's in Maryland Heights at the studio, keeping everything on the air. So we're going to be here for 2 more hours. Come on out, say hi. We're getting already meeting, some of the folks that listen. It's been so much fun being out here. So here's where we're at now. We've got the elections in 5 days or something like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Right around
primary elections. And then we're off to the races for the general election. So if you think things are nuts now, just wait till after that. Joined now by State Representative Tony Lovasco. I was trying to remember a second ago, Tony, that I remember when you first ran. And then you got elected, and I'm like, man, this is now term number 4. This is it.
It goes by so fast.
Yeah, you if you win this one, then you're termed out after this. Of course, you got to get through the next couple of elections on this as well. But I appreciate you stopping by here because it's interesting that voters seem to be speaking clearly, but the legislature itself is struggling to implement it at times. Now, good faith disagreements happen. I've got no issue with that whatsoever. But one of the things I think a lot of voters are saying is, okay, not only
What do you want to do? We know that. How are we going to get it done if you're re-elected? And that's a fair question at this point.
Yeah, I think it's no wonder that a lot of candidates are running on a platform of being obstructionist, of stopping bad things, because reality is it's easier to be honest and say, hey, I can stop the bad stuff than it is to say that you can pass the good stuff, because passing good stuff is really hard. And that's by design, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't object to. There's a lot more bad things around the horizon every session than positive legislation. But it is frustrating, the gridlock that we run through pretty much every election cycle, because so many folks are just tiptoeing around taking a vote on anything that's particularly controversial because, oh, well, my opponent might come after me about that. We've certainly seen plenty of ads this cycle. We were just talking about that before we got on. It is never a positive thing. Whenever you get into the election cycle, there's so much mud being slung. But I'm of the mind that that's the time to really shine, to really do what you came there to do, and then show the voters, hey, this is why you should send me back. And it's frustrating that that's not the norm.
Tony, it seems kind of counterintuitive the way candidates seem to respond to the fact that every 2 years they have to run for office, and they start tiptoeing around 10 months out, right? And that's when, like you said, you probably need to build up your resume, especially if you're in an area that's pretty safe red district. It's like, well, don't you want something good to show your red voters, right? But for some reason, everybody gets really tepid around those times, and because the terms are so short, you almost have no time to actually do something good.
Yeah, 2 years. And so for practical purposes, you have one session to really make a dent before all of a sudden all of your coworkers no longer care about anything.
Oh my gosh.
It's really frustrating.
Okay, so if you're reelected, obviously now being in your fourth term, this would be your fourth term if you're reelected. You're in a different spot as far as moving up the ladder and all that sort of thing. What's realistic? The good stuff that's realistic, the good free market conservative stuff that's realistic that we should expect you and your colleagues to get done this coming session in 2025.
One of the things I've been working on since I got there that I am really hoping that we can make a dent on is stopping local governments from using your tax dollars to send propaganda. It's something that we see across the state. It's not just an area in St. Charles here. And basically what they do is they'll use your tax money and they'll put it in an economic development fund or something, of that nature. And when April elections come around and it's time to ask for that additional tax levy or that bond issue or whatever nonsense that they're pushing, they'll send out, full color flyers and everything else. They'll put radio ads out, etc., basically telling your constituents how to vote. And it doesn't technically, they don't say vote yes. They tell you all the great things that their tax will go to raise. But there's no opposition. There's no actual transparency. And what it really is using your own money to lobby your neighbors to take more of your money.
Which is already illegal under statute. I want to say 313.464 or something. One right in that category right there. I've actually objected to this before and had the Ethics Commission rule against a city, but it's already illegal, but they're already still doing it.
Well, the problem is the statute says that they're not allowed to tell you how to vote. They can't say vote yes. But they can do all of this, quote, education.
Boy, wouldn't life be great if this were to pass?
Right.
Make your own choices.
And if it doesn't, everyone's going to die.
Right, exactly. Don't you want to support schools?
But make your own choices.
Yes, make your own choice.
The one that really got me, I brought this up when I had the bill in committee a few years back, was a city of Dardenne Prairie many years ago had a parks issue that they had. They wanted to raise a tax to build a park or fix a park or something. And they had Frisbees, custom Frisbees monogrammed with support your local parks. Don't forget to vote on Prop P.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it didn't say vote yes, but come on, it's a Frisbee.
And it says support parks.
Right.
Which implies vote.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think an attorney, and I is not one, but they would say any reasonable person would say that means vote yes.
You would think.
On that.
But someone has to file a lawsuit. It's a whole process. You have a very short window to remove it from the ballot. It shouldn't happen to begin with.
Right. Okay, so we're talking about government accountability there, using the state government to hold local government accountable and keep it in its lane. And that's what's funny is because, like, for instance, with all the shutdowns and the mandates and all that sort of thing, immediately there were people who goes, oh, well, people who said, well, you don't support local control then, apparently. Talk about that argument here, because I like the fact that we're going this direction of the conversation.
So that term local control is probably the most infuriating thing that I hear from both sides of the aisle at the Capitol, because it basically means I don't want to do the thing and I don't want to explain why. It's just a catch-all, because the smallest unit of local control is the individual, right? The reality is any discussion we have should be, first, should government be doing it at all? If the answer is yes, then which level of government should do it? And very frequently, but it doesn't pass the first test. Government shouldn't be telling your business to shut down. It shouldn't be telling you to take a vaccine. It shouldn't be telling you what to put in your front yard, for God's sake. And so it doesn't matter at that point that, well, your neighbors got together and they voted and they decided you must wear a red tie. Well, that's not the local purpose of government. It doesn't matter. That's not local control.
Why do you hate democracy?
And red ties. What do you have against red ties? But along the lines of local control, we have these discussions about the state controlling policing in our two major cities, in Kansas City and St. Louis City, and there's a ballot initiative on the ballot. What do you make of the need to put in our Constitution that the cities supply policing?
So, you know what? I'm going to say something controversial. I voted against that when we had it in the legislature. I was one of a handful of folks because the legislature did approve that. That was not an initiative. That was something that was done through the process. And the reason I did was it's not a conservative principle to tell a government you must spend more money, even if it's something that we want them to spend money on. And obviously I don't want to defund the police. I think that Kansas City absolutely should pay their officers and staff those positions. But for the state government to say, well, even if you've got it under control, and even if you have enough officers and you've dropped the crime levels to where they need to be, and even if you met all the benchmarks, well, it doesn't matter because we put an arbitrary formula in the Constitution that says you have to spend a specific amount of your budget on this area. Well, then you know what they're going to do? They're going to buy new police cars. They're going to give themselves fancy new uniforms or whatever, things that aren't necessary for policing because they have to spend the money by law, and that's not good government.
Now, does that somebody may say, okay, but wait a minute, but the state runs, basically they're supervising the Kansas City Police Department the way that some people want the St. Louis to be taken over again by the state on there. And they may argue, but this is an essential service. And if the state has responsibility to supervise it and run it, then what they're doing is they're setting the rules.
Sure. And then, then give the state the authority to manage the budget. That's fine. Like, I don't have a problem necessarily with saying, hey, you failed at your mission of policing and we're going to take over and do it for you. That's basically what we are proposing for St. Louis, and I support that. But at that point, then, well, the state should own that and actually manage it. They shouldn't say, well, we're going to tell you, specifically how to do the policing, but we're not going to do anything other than say, well, you have to dump this amount of money into it, like have fun. That's not going to end with a better result.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting aspects of that discussion because I have a problem with tweaking the Constitution constantly. I have a problem with that, and especially the way we do it here in the state of Missouri. And you would think that funding would be covered under various statutes if the state's going to be dealing with this. How do we kind of balance the idea of getting things done that we like done, but doing so in the right way?
That is huge because it is so tempting, especially given what we talked about before. You've got such a small window to get things done. A lot of people will settle for a win, even if it's a really small one and done in a way that maybe is going to have unintended consequences. And a lot of that does come into, well, you know what? If I get in the Constitution, the next guy can't mess it up.
Right.
That's so much of it. Because, if this is such a great idea, why are we doing it only for Kansas City? Why not saying that every local government have to spend a certain percentage on police? Like, we can have that discussion. But no, Kansas City is the one that's a hot button today, and that's the one we got the votes for. So fine, let's just do that.
Yeah,
and that's just lazy.
But we've also got a situation where when it comes to keeping government in its lane, I mean, you can buy a constitutional amendment for about $2.5 million. I think is about $2.5-3 million. That's pretty good deal if you're investing. I mean, if you're a special interest, you can buy one for about that. And I'm not saying
you sell police cars.
Yeah. So Joe Mockins is going really well. But we've got a situation here where there are times where amending the Constitution is the right thing to do. It's just become the go-to thing. Why would you bother going with statute, like you said, if you can just go with the state constitution, if you can get the same number of votes and pass that on any sort of election cycle?
To me, the litmus test is pretty easy. The Constitution should regulate and confine government. Statutes do that to the people.
Right.
That's it. If the thing that you're proposing is going to be a regulation or restriction on an individual, that needs to go through the legislative process, and it needs to be a statute. And if you're trying to lock down what government can do in the scope of its power, that goes in the Constitution.
Okay, so last minute or two we've got here. You're obviously doing all the door knocking. You're in a primary race for re-election here in the next few days or so. There's what us pundits think are important. There's what media thinks. What are people telling you when you're knocking on the doors? I mean, you got school choice, you've got taxes, you got all these different things. What's the feedback that you are getting from the people that you're asking to keep you in the job?
So the biggest two things is the economy. Everybody is concerned about the price of everything. I think employment's gotten a lot better. Most people do have jobs, but then they go buy groceries and it's crushing them. We hear that quite a bit. And then immigration is another big thing. Which of course is frustrating because there's only so much we can do at the state level to address that, but it really is on people's minds, and it has a ripple effect on totally unrelated issues or issues that really are related, like policing. Those kind of things come up the doors.
Okay, should you be reelected, what becomes top 1 or 2 priorities in 2025 for you?
Certainly the bill that we mentioned before about regulating the use of your tax dollars to advocate for ballot issues. One of the things I worked on last year that had a lot of support that I want to bring back is making our library boards elected positions instead of appointed. That's another one of those things where we can't just trust our local governments to make the right decisions without some oversight. That's definitely something that I want to keep pushing. And then honestly, just kind of tying up the loose ends. We've got a lot of things that we need to deal with. We need to get rid of gun-free zones. We need to make sure that people can actually use their money in reasonable ways because we've got so much regulation on what they can do with their homes. I got a bill about building permits. If you want to work on your basement, I think you should be able to do that.
Yes, thank you.
It's
my basement. Sorry.
So that to me, that's the biggest thing. I go up there to give you a little bit more individual freedom and keep the government off your back, and that's what I'm doing.
All right, sounds good. And the website, I think we've already tagged him on social media, right?
We have.
Okay, so website, people want to get to know you a little bit more. Of course, they can go around here to PJ's Coffee right now and say hi if they have a question for you.
Absolutely. My website is TonyLovasco.com.
All right, good talking again, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
Stopping by. All right, 314-912-1019. Let's do this. We have been promising people that we're going to review a lot of these statewide races because everybody's focused on the governor's race, obviously the presidential race, but we've had a number of people say, hey, I don't know these people running for these other positions. We're going to review the race for Secretary of State and just tell you who at least the main candidates are so you can look them up for yourself and just be a little more equipped to vote on Tuesday right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Danny Define here, host of the all-new show, The Next Gen, with me, Danny Define. We're going to cover all the hard-hitting topics on this show, from national headlines to things happening right here in St. Louis.
Next Gen with Danny Define, Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on News Talk STL.
No matter how big the event, Capriotti's can take care of all of your business or personal catering needs. With party trays, box lunches, a meatball bar, shareable salads, plus desserts and sides. Easy ordering is available via the Capriotti's app. Check it all out at capriottis.com.
I'm Jim Bolin, running to represent West St. Louis County in the Missouri Senate. Growing up in Texas County, my dad always said, all hat and no cattle, about those who talk big but do little. I built a successful business, cleaned up City Hall as mayor, and now I'm ready to clean up Jefferson City. We need to jail repeat offenders, stop taxpayer funding for illegals, cut taxes, protect our children, and defend our liberties from the radical left. I'm Jim Bolin, and I would appreciate your vote on August the 6th. Let's get it done.
Paid for by Bolin from Missouri. Cindy Samagi, Treasurer.
If you haven't been to Lit Cigar Lounge in the district at Chesterfield, you're missing a great experience. Premium cigars, drinks, spacious seating, TVs in every direction. This and more explain why Lit was voted Best Cigar Lounge 2 years in a row. Now you can be at Lit and order Napoli Brothers pizza and pasta delivered to you. In fact, Napoli's just a few doors down. A coal-fired oven giving a unique taste. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta, now open in the Chesterfield district.
Biden's border crisis, China buying our farmland, Sam Page disrespecting our seniors. We're under attack. It's time to fight. I'm David Gregory. I created a law that authorizes Missouri to detain illegal immigrants. I've never voted for China to buy Missouri farmland, and I sued Sam Page to give our seniors their tax freeze. I'm David Gregory. I'm already fighting for you as your next state senator.
Paid for by Gregory from Missouri. Joe Garavaglia, Treasurer.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. ccpg.com or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
News, analysis, opinion.
It almost seems common sense, but, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Talk STL.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, the politics are kind of at a fever pitch, and this is just round one.
Yeah.
We got the general, obviously, coming in November. So after Tuesday, we get to take a breath, pause for a minute,
and do it again.
And then we get to do it all over again. But one of the things that we've heard a lot, Gabe, has been, we all know who the candidates for governor are. This has gotten a lot of attention.
Yes.
But we got lieutenant governor, we got state treasurer, we got secretary of state, we got attorney general. We got all these races where we really don't know who these people are. And it's kind of a weird year in that there are a lot of people, as I've said before, who are well known in their regional areas, but the whole state doesn't really know them. So we've been asked by people to say, at least tell us who they are.
Right.
I'm not telling you who to vote for or anything like that, but at least we can let you know who they are so you can look up who you find most interesting.
And on some level, we are acting as a bit of a sieve to say, okay, here are the top candidates. Here are the biggest names kind of in the region we're talking about. And we also get to kind of poke a little fun at some of the gadflies.
I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a realistic view of a lot of these here.
Okay.
7:24 right now. By the way, in about 10 minutes, Bob Onder going to be here at PJ's Coffee, where Gabe and I and Joey V are right now. So we're in O'Fallon, Missouri, right there off of Highway K, Route K. Bob Onder going to be here running for Congress as well. So if you want to meet Bob, you want to say hi, you got a question for him, this is the place to be out here at PJ's Coffee, and I can tell you the coffee is delicious.
Absolutely, as well as the beignets.
Oh, yeah.
I have currently consumed probably several more than I should have, and I plan on continuing to do so throughout the morning. So
Okay,
caution to the wind.
Let's go through the list of the candidates for Secretary of State.
Okay.
All right. So if you believe the polls, the top two right now are Denny Hoskins, a state senator.
Yep.
Denny Hoskins, former state representative.
Yep.
And former state representative and former Speaker pro tem, Shane Scholler, who's now the Greene County clerk.
Yes.
So he's been in that role of actually running elections there for the last 10 years or so, since he left the State House Representative. So let's start there. Denny Hoskins is part of the Freedom Caucus. He, is running a very, what I would say is a very basic conservative campaign for this, as far as
pretty standard.
All the right things as far as voter integrity and security and things like that, which pretty much all of them are doing.
Oh yeah.
And so what you have here is an outspoken Freedom Caucus member who's now looking to step up into the statewide office.
Right.
Shane Scholler. I've known Shane for a very long time. The thing is with Shane is that he is really, really passionate about elections to the point of being nerdy.
Yeah.
Yes. It's funny
Yes.
Because Shane is the only one who is actually running elections now.
Right.
He's actually going to be on the show tomorrow as well. So he is as conservative as anybody else in the race, and Denny Hoskins is very conservative.
Absolutely.
So they're both conservative. They're both pro-life. They're both pro-Second Amendment. And Shane having legislative and executive experience as well. So the thing is that Shane has been out of the statewide spotlight for since leaving the legislature and getting elected in Greene County. And Shane has been the nominee for Secretary of State before. He was in the what people call the Todd Aiken year.
Oh yeah. So a lot of down ticket people got suffered because of that issue.
Okay, so let's look at some of the others who are going on. You may see their TV ads or their video ads. You've got Speaker of the House Dean Plocker.
Yes, that's true.
Of course, there's mixed feelings on him regarding the stuff that got done and didn't get done. And there has been an ethics investigation with him, which the ethics committee so far has said there's nothing here, but the headlines are there. So he's kind of being plagued by that.
Oh yeah, and I imagine the PACs are kind of going after him because of those things.
Right. So he's a House Speaker. He's also been a judge as well. So that's where he comes from as far as experience goes. Let's see, because I'm trying to get through as many of these as I can here.
Well, we also got Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
Pretty wide name recognition, but
right. And so she, originally was going to run for Congress in the 3rd District, decided to change and run for Secretary of State. She, of course, under fire from a lot of conservatives over the way that the initiative petition reform was tanked at the last minute. A lot of people are blaming her for that.
Yeah.
She says not her fault. Most of the conservatives in the organizations outside, not just within, but outside the legislature, say, no, you tanked the bill.
Right.
Again, she disagrees with that. So she's, I think that I would be surprised if she's in the top 2 or 3 in this race.
She's not pulling Mo right now.
Right.
So, yeah.
So she's going to be in there. Jamie Corley. I've met Jamie Corley. She used to be she used to work on the Hill for a U.S. Senator. She's got a lot of money. I'm not really sure where it comes from. She's running her campaign basically on being the only pro-abortion advocate on the Republican side of the ticket.
Right. Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. So
that's kind of where we are with that.
She tried to do one of those initiative petition, she tried to do one of those constitutional amendment referendums.
Yeah.
That was legalizing abortion again. And then when you saw the media saying, well, this is the bipartisan Republican backed one, it was her.
Yeah, she was what counted as bipartisan.
Right. She was the only one.
Yeah.
So she is the farthest to the left of all the Republicans by every stretch. You know, she is absolutely out of the mainstream of Republicans. So and maybe, like I'm trying to be objective, obviously I'm letting my personal opinion show through, but that's just fact. There's nothing I said that's not true there.
What do you got for Adam Schwadron?
Okay. Adam Schwadron's a state representative, also conservative, very conservative. He's a business owner, as well, contractor. He's I have a feeling he's kind of getting lost in the conversation with the bigger names like Shane Scholler and Denny Hoskins.
Name recognition is such a huge deal.
Yeah, really so he's here in the area as well. So basically, you've got a conservative lawmaker right there. As far as what he brings, ready to step into Secretary of State. Well, the same as any lawmaker would do, making that step from legislative to executive. But there's, again, I think he's kind of getting lost in the shuffle.
Now, a couple of names that I don't really recognize at all are Mike Carter and Jamie Corley.
Okay, well, we just talked about Jamie Corley.
I'm sorry, we did talk about. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Mike Carter is he used to be a judge here in the area, and he's run for office before as well. He's run for the state senate. Mike Carter, attorney, judge. If he doesn't end up winning this, you're going to probably see him on the ballot again for something else. I think he's the one that does the TV show. As well. Let me just break the rules of broadcasting and shout out to my boss here. Mike Carter is the one that does the TV show, right, Jeff? Yes, he does. So he's on channel channel 30. So it's he does a TV show that comments. He's a conservative commentator, so you can if you want to know more about him, just look him up for that.
He's on Fox and ABC weekends.
Right. He's on the weekends there. Okay, let's see here.
Now you got Valentina Gomez.
Geez, for crying out loud.
She's on the ballot.
She's on the ballot. She's actually going to be on Danny Define's show this weekend.
Yes.
So
that's going to be fun.
I recommend drinking heavily before you listen to that when you're at home. Listen, she's nuts. I mean, seriously, this is not somebody to be taken seriously whatsoever. She has no clue what this office actually does. Among the things that she has said she's going to do if elected is liberate Canada. I wish I were making that up.
As the Secretary of State
of Missouri, she's going to liberate Canada. Okay. She's warning everybody to stop being weak and gay.
Okay.
And she said she's going to basically she's going to burn all the LGBT books in the libraries. I mean, she's not a serious person.
Right.
Okay. She's just not.
Yes. But her Instagram following is growing.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I would say it very realistically, but I've got to be careful how I say it.
She's not an unattractive woman.
Right. And there is a market for young people who say outrageous things, even if they have zero grasp of reality.
Sure. Yeah.
This is not a serious person who adds anything serious to the conversation.
Essentially, she's sort of the influencer candidate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Because I think a lot of races have those right.
I kind of wonder sometimes, I'm like, is she just trolling everybody to build a campaign, or does she actually think that this is a serious race? It is not a serious race from her.
It's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: among the 3 Democrats who are running, there is a Barbara Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
spelled the same. No relation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
don't vote for the.
So it's not like Aunt Barbara.
No,
nothing like that.
No. Don't vote for retired pastor Barbara Pfeiffer.
Yes. So yeah, I think that covers pretty much everybody on the Republican side. The Libertarians have somebody in this as well who will be on the general election ballot. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
As well. So I hope that helps. Basically, what you're looking at is Shane Scholler and Denny Hoskins appear to be kind of the top 2.
Yeah,
at least according to the polling.
I think that's where the race is right now.
Really is Senator Hoskins, and then Shane. So Senator Hoskins basically running on the Freedom Caucus conservative thing. Shane Scholler running on conservative in the legislature, who has run elections, and I literally right now running elections in Greene County as well. So those are the 2 I would look at. Now you may like one of the others. Great, fantastic. For one of the others to do well, because according to the polls, there's 35-40% undecided at this point. So anybody could win this thing.
That's one of the interesting things about all of these primary races, especially in the statewide offices, which we know pretty much are going to be red. The Republican is going to win. So you get a lot of split votes here.
Right. And we've also got at newstalkstl.com, we've got a voter guide as a resource for you. So check that out. You can click there and go right to the candidates' campaigns themselves. All right. Bob Onder going to be here in just a couple of minutes. And if you want to meet him yourself, stop on by. We're at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon on Route K. So you can say hi to Bob and get some questions for him. Send them to me on social media. I'm watching Rumble. Gabe's watching Twitter and Facebook. If you got a question for him, let us know right here. 119 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Familiar faces, familiar sights. Reach back, remember with all the light.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Quick-hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point, so now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid, too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight, and then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
John Beal knows that new roofing companies can look big and trustworthy on the internet, but the fact is 96% of new roofing companies go out of business within the first 5 years. John Beal has a reputation for excellence, reliability, plus lowest cost, best roof, best guarantee. Those here today, gone tomorrow roofers, they can't match John Beal. For home or business, trust my friend John. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
How many times have we heard leftists preach, even warn, if Donald Trump is reelected, he will end our Democrat process, ending democracy in our republic? Well, riddle me this. Which party just kicked their leading candidate to the side of the road, taking his delegate votes and money, throwing all those who supported him under the bus? You know the answer. The Democrats. And now it's official. VP Harris will be the only candidate on the Democrat National Committee virtual roll call ballot for president. In fact, the DNC chairman said, our party has met this unprecedented moment with a transparent, democratic, orderly process to unite behind a nominee with a proven record. What record? Now, next week, Harris will officially announce her VP. That's the early word on the street. And I have sources watching out for this. And in fact, my sources tell me that next week, Harris is going to name that she is picking, wait for it, Joe Biden. Oh, I'm going to have to talk to my sources.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here, along with Tim Jones for Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Rodney and Jen are the #1 home selling team in the area, and I could say that from personal experience. They sold our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible, which put us in a great position as we tried to find our perfect new home. And with help from the Wallners, that's exactly what we did. Christine and I couldn't be happier with our experience working with Rodney and Jen Wallner. And Tim, the numbers speak for themselves.
That's right, Tony. Everybody knows the Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. And if you're looking to sell your home, right now they have so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. They're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so no matter where you are in the St. Louis region, you can put the Wallners experience and work ethic to work for you. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call Rodney and Jen Wallner now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Eigel. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump-endorsed Bill Eigel for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
I think you're a little confused.
News, analysis, opinion.
I've got something to say and I can't hold it any longer.
101.9 and 94.1.
You won't hear the truth anywhere but here. News Talk STL.
News Talk STL.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's The Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, you know, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, we are at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon out here on the Route K. We're going to be here for about another hour and a half. Got Gabe here, got Joey V here. Of course, Stell, as always, making things run in the studio. And yes, Stell, we are getting you your beignets. We're bringing them back.
Wait to get them hot. That's what we're doing.
That's right. Bob Onder is going to be here in a few minutes. So he's obviously in big demand, and so he's running a few minutes behind. So we're going to chat with him here right around 7:45, but he's going to be here. But instead, we've got our own Chris Arps.
Yes.
Joined right here. And I want to point out, by the way, when it comes to the beignets and the powdered sugar, Chris has got the bib thing going on.
Yeah, he's
playing it safe.
Yes.
Gabe is like, I'm all in.
Yeah,
what happens with the powdered sugar.
Look, I am a man of experience when it comes to PJs and beignets, and I know that I need to have a bib or I will be wearing powdered sugar all over myself. I have my News Talk STL Sugar Creek golf polo shirt on, which has a brilliant bright red, and it clashes or goes against white powdered sugar. So PJs, greatest coffee, beignets. My good friend Jennifer Meyer and John Whitehead, known them forever, own this place, and I recommend you come in. And before we I got to give a shout out to my good friend Linda Ragsdale.
Linda's here, from the O'Fallon City Council.
O'Fallon City Council. I knew her win. Now she's a big shot. And elected official. We'll be saying Governor Ragsdale one day. So remember me, Linda.
That's right. All right, Chris, I want to get your reaction to something here. Donald Trump goes to National Association of Black Journalists yesterday. He hadn't even quite sat down.
He was just
and
settling
let me pick up the question from Rachel Scott from ABC, who was doing the Q&A. I'm just going to play the question here for you real quick.
Is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
All right, I'll get to the answer here in a second. But yeah, Chris, that's a.
What do you make of the question there?
Look, first of all, President Trump going into the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago, it's already going to be a hostile audience. I had reported during my Chris's Corner that this was canceled, and that's what it originally was canceled. Kamala Harris was supposed to attend virtually. They declined that. And so at the last minute, I guess things were changed, and he was allowed to come and speak to them. In one sense, I think it's a fair question. A politician who has made remarks that could be considered controversial should be asked to explain them. But I think the tone of the way that she asked the questions, the accusatory nature that she asked the questions, showed that she was biased while she was asking. But I think the questions are fundamentally fair to ask, especially if you're asking for support of Black voters, Black women specifically, who make up the backbone of the Democratic Party.
And of course, his answer he could have said is, I call everybody a loser.
Exactly.
I am incredibly diverse when it comes to calling people a loser. But there are other, and I mentioned this earlier. I said the one part, like you've dined with a white supremacist at Mar-a-Lago, that actually did happen.
Yeah.
And Gabe, you pointed out that the guy just kind of showed up. He was brought in by, I forgot.
Kanye.
Got by Kanye.
Yeah.
Which is that's a whole other thing.
His dinner was with Kanye.
And
It's like, okay, so 2 celebrities are going to have dinner together. That's not news otherwise. But then Nick Fuentes shows up. And he's like, okay, who are you?
Yeah. Which I still don't know how that gets past Secret Service, and they're not vetted, and how anybody can just walk up. But but there's an answer. People can like or not like the answer. But I think a lot of people, of course, me being in the media for all these years, there are some people that say, well, it was hostile because it was a Black organization. I'm looking at this going, wait a minute, the word journalist is also in your organization, and there was nothing journalistically about that question itself. So you give him credit for showing up to what's clearly going to be a hostile environment. But here's the other thing is the next time that the election rolls around and the National Association of Black Journalists wants to complain that a Republican declined the offer, and they say, how could they not come talk to us?
Yeah, exactly.
This is why.
Like, wait a minute.
And there's a history of this at these conventions. I can remember when George W. Bush spoke at these conventions. He got a very not a very good response to that. Other Democratic or Republican presidential wannabes have spoken for them, and they haven't gotten a warm reception. So, they are supposed to be journalists. They're supposed to not wear their opinions on their sleeves, but it seems that African-American journalists have chosen which side they are for and don't make a secret out of it.
Is it worth it for a Republican to show up at this from here on out?
I think it is. I mean, you are running to be president of all the people of the United States, conservatives, Republicans, Black, white, Hispanic, everything in between. So, yeah, I think you take more criticism not showing up than showing up and taking fire from the audience. I think it's always good to talk to the people.
Chris, I know you haven't seen it, but I noted a particular vocal positive response coming out of the back of the room, I guess. So I'm wondering, what would you make of that?
I heard you say that when we were driving here. I didn't listen as closely, but it doesn't surprise me because we've seen the polls that show that Donald Trump is doing very well among African-American men, 25 to 30% in some polls. He doubled his percentage among white women. I am a little bit surprised to see some support at a Black journalist convention.
That's what I'm saying.
That is really surprising. So it shows that there is some hope for Black journalists to be objective. and not completely in the tank for the Democratic Party.
All right. So it's not like we're going to say, try to be like Don Lemon. No, don't do that.
Don't be like
All right, Chris Harps, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock every day here with Tim Jones as well.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to speak with Steve Bucci at 425. We are, me and Tim, this thing with Israel taking out 3 terrorist leaders. Israel is not a good week to be a terrorist.
No, that's right.
In the Middle East.
All right, Chris, good chat with you again, man.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
All right, Bob Onder, going to be, he is here right now at
In the room.
PJ's Coffee. So if you want to meet Bob, come on out to stop by, but we're going to be chatting with him just ahead here in about 2 minutes on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Here I come again now, baby, like a dog in heat. Jealous me by the clamor now, baby, I'd like to tap the street.
Hey, St. Louis golfers, looking for a new golfing experience? Sugar Creek Golf Course was voted the most popular golf course in St. Louis. Book your tee time today at sugarcreekgolfcourse.com and join the fastest growing golf community in town, sugarcreekgolfcourse.com.
Attention voters. The truth about Phil Cristofanelli may surprise you.
As state representative, Phil was endorsed by Promo, a Democrat-led LGBTQIA+ organization with extreme views.
Promo pushes for sex changes for kids, males and girls sports and bathrooms, and teaching gender confusion in schools.
Phil's record speaks for itself.
He voted to allow boys and girls sports.
And pushed to teach sexual orientation and gender identity in public schools.
Is this the leadership we want? Think carefully when you vote.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John Royal, Treasurer.
Old man winter in the rearview mirror. Warmer weather here. Time to call Hanson's Tree Service. 636-379-1830. 24/7 at hansonstree.com. This is the perfect time to spruce up and beautify your landscape beds. When you purchase organic mulch in bulk from Hanson's, you save on price, time, and incredibly convenient. Tons of commercial and residential tree care services as well. Grinding and land clearing, plant health care, and more. 636-379-1830. hansonstree.com. hansonstree.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL on a Garage, and we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Harps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, it's almost here, primary day. And for a lot of races around the state, that is the election day. It's not that the general election isn't important, but we just know how things run realistically. In the 3rd district in Missouri is one of the closest watched races in the state, because the Republican primary, in all candor, is probably going to decide the next congressperson. Anything can happen.
Yes.
But that
what it is.
that is likely just where it's at, and we're joined by Bob Onder. I can safely say the front runner in this race right here. Bob, great to chat with you again.
Great to be back.
You know, it's funny because Bob, I don't know how many years we've known each other, but we text, we'll call, and I'm like, you walked in, I'm like, It's been a while since we've actually.
Actually, yes, it is.
I think I'm texting with you a couple times, 2-3 times a week.
But it's great. Yeah, great to be here in person.
Yeah, precisely. So first, since you're running for Congress, let me ask you a national level question.
Yeah.
And I did not warn you I was going to ask you about this, but we got word last night that the Biden-Harris administration has allowed a plea deal with the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks on New York, literally making a plea deal to take the death penalty off the table, and they're going to plead guilty to over 2,900 murders. Why are we? I mean, should it be something that's even on the table that we would make a plea agreement as though this is just a heinous domestic crime?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that news, but that's disturbing. I mean, it's emblematic of the softness of the Biden-Harris administration, and it is the Biden-Harris administration. She was there with Sleepy Joe the entire administration. Both soft on crime, soft on foreign policy, soft on our enemies, and this is why it's so essential that we elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. And I look forward to joining him as a congressman to be his staunchest ally as we restore America's greatness, restore our respect around the world, and know that if that report is true, that does not further that objective for sure.
As bad as the Biden-Harris administration has been domestically, I am worried particularly about our appearance on the world stage.
Yes.
Things like this deal with the terrorists.
Yes.
I think it's just another indicator of that. What do you make of their current response to Israel and its defense of itself? Right now?
Well, yeah, I think if Donald Trump were president, I don't think the October 7th massacre and mass hostage taking would have happened. I don't think, honestly, the Russian invasion of Ukraine would have happened. I think our enemies sense weakness, and they move. With Donald Trump, he, as Teddy Roosevelt said, spoke softly and carried a big stick. Sometimes he spoke loudly.
I don't know how softly he spoke.
Sometimes he spoke quite loudly, Little Rocket Man. But Little Rocket Man didn't give him any more trouble after about the first couple of months. So, I think the state of Israel, our strongest, for sure, ally in the Middle East, our strongest ally, arguably in the whole world, has a right to defend itself. And, the Biden-Harris administration doesn't seem to understand that because they seem to be coddling a constituency of anti-Semite Muslims in the Detroit suburbs. I mean, it's really that. It seems to be at least that's part of the equation.
And also indoctrinated college students.
Right.
Well, no question about it. I mean, the idea that college students would be supporting Hamas murderers over our staunchest ally, I think it's emblematic that they've absorbed this anti-American ideology. They hate Israel because they hate America, and that is the end. That's been the end goal of the leftists infiltrating and indoctrinating in our K through 12 education system as well as our higher education system.
We're visiting with Bob Onder, of course, running for Congress in the 3rd District. Just a couple minutes left here, Bob.
Yeah.
Obviously, the thing that everybody is feeling. I mean, we've got the issues of immigration. We've got the issues of education, economy. I mean, stuff's just more expensive. It's harder to live and afford everything. Let's say if you're elected, should Republicans hold on the majority in the House? Who knows what's going to happen in the Senate? What needs to be the practical to-do list for that freshman class or the next Congress to get done to help bring some of this financial pressure off of us?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, first and foremost, securing the border, building the wall. But after that, the economy definitely. The average American family has taken an $8,100 pay cut since the day Joe Biden was sworn into office. Inflationary policy, both in terms of overspending, all the COVID funding, the worst named bill ever in the history of the country, the Inflation Reduction Act, which was nothing but overspending, resulting in more inflation, and then the printing of money by the Federal Reserve. We need to restore fiscal sanity to Washington D.C. We need to stop blowing money on bogus green energy projects, on COVID projects. We need to, and really, we need to stop expanding entitlements. In the state Senate, I stood against Obamacare Medicaid expansion and Biden-Care Medicaid expansion. we can't just, too many Republicans just go along with these liberals, nice sounding programs. And we are mortgaging our children, our grandchildren's future, $100,000 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. It's got to stop.
Yeah. All right, Bob, we've already tagged you on social media as usual. Website, people want to learn more about you and any upcoming events where they could come out and say hi and ask you their own questions.
Yeah, bobundermo.com is my email, my website, and then Bob Undermo on Twitter, Facebook, and Truth Social. And we're having a victory party at the Soda Museum, 7 p.m. on Tuesday.
All right, great. I appreciate you coming by, Bob. Good to see you in person again here.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we still got a lot of ground to cover here. We're at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, just off Route K. If you get here in the next minute or two, you may be still be able to take a selfie with Bob or ask him your question yourself. I know you got to run off to something else at this point, but this is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers visit Busch Stadium the weekend of August 16th through the 18th, and you won't want to miss this blockbuster matchup. The Hollywood stars from LA go head-to-head with Mason Wynn, Wilson Contreras, and the Redbirds. Plus, there are great giveaways you won't want to miss, like the popular Cardinals belt bag. That's the Dodgers and Cardinals, August 16th through the 18th at Busch Stadium. Great seats remain. Get yours today at Cardinals.com.
This is Wilson Contreras, San Luis Cardinal, for the Lou.
Pivot, 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 pivot.
Down to Busch Stadium on August 21st for Friends Night at the ballpark. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home their own Friends-inspired bobblehead highlighting an iconic scene from this hit show. A portion of each ticket sold will be donated to the Matthew Perry Foundation. That's Wednesday, August 21st. Friends Night at the ballpark. For tickets or more info, visit cardinals.com/theme.
This is Bernard Gilkey, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
On August 6th, your vote will shape our community's future. Introducing Representatives John Simmons and Kyle Marquardt, two candidates with starkly different records. John Simmons, a staunch conservative, has consistently cut taxes and defended parents' rights for education choice. He believes in limited government and safeguarding our privacy. Simmons even championed legislation to secure our elections, ensuring integrity at every step. In contrast, Kyle Marquardt voted to expand welfare and increase government spending, and also supported invasive, warrantless government drone searches. When it comes to protecting your rights and hard-earned money, the choice is clear. John Simmons is not just making promises, he's delivered real results. It's time to make your voice heard in the Republican primary. Vote John Simmons, the representative with the proven conservative voting record. Paid for by Nova PAC, James Murphy, Treasurer.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Unconfirmed reports this morning of a massive U.S.-Russia prisoner swap in the works, the largest such exchange since the Cold War. It would see the release of American journalist Evan Gershkovich, among others, being held by the Russians. It's been a huge state funeral in Iran for Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, killed by a suspected Israeli airstrike on Tehran.
Thousands attended the procession in the streets of the Iranian capital, where Haniyeh's coffin was carried through the city in an ornate vehicle. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, also led funeral prayers at Tehran University, while Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian, stood next to him. After the funeral service in Tehran, Hania's remains are expected to be transferred to Qatar for burial on Friday. He was killed in an airstrike that hit a residence Hania uses in Tehran. Iranian authorities say the attack is under investigation, but haven't provided details. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Former President Trump, he vows to return to the scene of his attempted assassination, was back in Pennsylvania last night, although he was not in Butler. The former president held a rally about 160 miles away in the state capital, Harrisburg. Pledging to close the wide-open southern border, Mr. Trump says the Biden-Harris team has allowed illegal alien criminals and deadly drugs to flood America.
They're poisoning our country. By contrast, if I am elected on day one, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
The Pentagon bringing word of a plea deal involving 3 of the men charged with plotting the 9/11 attacks, guilty pleas in exchange for sparing them a death sentence. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the stock futures in positive territory. Dow futures are up 48 points. NASDAQ futures 97 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. You've heard about our Solaire infrared grills at BestHotGrill.com, but did you know we also make the best gas logs for your fireplace? You've probably seen Rasmussen gas logs and fireballs on TV and in the movies. We've got sizes to fit all fireplaces, styles to fit every decor, and we even do custom designs for large and unusual fireplaces. Lighting these logs is as easy as pushing a button. Realistic Rasmussen gas logs look great even when the fire is off. For regions prone to power outages, gas logs are an excellent source of emergency heat with no electricity required. We've been making them since the 50s, so you can buy a Rasmussen gas log with confidence. So go to BestHotGrill.com to find the products you need to keep you warm inside and outside of your home while eating great grilled food. Learn more at BestHotGrill.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some quick-hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point, so now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid, too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight, and then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. With the average funeral bill being over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Call 314-866-8886 or memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Missourians, our future is under attack. Tax Hike Mike is fixing to devour your hard-earned money with gas taxes galore and another sky-high fee on your next car purchase. Kehoe's policies will flat-out destroy your wallet. His big old bus is fueled by donations from Chinese communists and George Soros surrogates. But there's hope. Jay Ashcroft, the true leader who fights with integrity against the lies, higher taxes, and the Jefferson City swamp. Vote Jay Ashcroft for governor now.
Paid for by Friends of J. Ashcroft PAC. Alexandra Lang, Treasurer.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
Let's knock it off.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, man. There's a lot. What's interesting is if you come out here to right now, you're going to be able to meet a lot of candidates and office holders because they're here.
Oh yeah, they're hanging out
right here. Gabe's here, Joey V's here. I'm Mike Ferguson. We still are going to chat in just a little bit here with Joe Brazel from St. Charles County Council, also Jane Puszkar from the Francis Howell School District as well. Matter of fact, one of the candidates for Associate Circuit Judge, St. Charles County, Gwendolyn Goki, is here as well.
In the
So
house.
she's actually enjoying a cup of coffee right now. That was a pleasant surprise. So if you want to ask her any questions, you can do that because she's here for a little bit longer. Yeah, she's okay. So she came in. It's been a pleasant surprise meeting a lot of people who have come in here to PJ's Coffee. I don't know if they knew what they were signing up for when they're like, let's bring the conservative talk station out and just see what happens.
Yes, absolutely. So they're currently running out of beignets. No, I'm kidding. No, they're not running out of beignets. I haven't eaten that many. You just
scared still.
No, they have plenty of them. I suggest you go. Get you an order of one. I suggest the caramel as the dipping sauce because it takes it to a whole new next level. Grab a seat on one of their comfy chairs or in a booth or one of their tables here. Hang out with some of these candidates and office holders. Talk to some good people, and you can listen to us live right here in front of your face.
And also, John and Jennifer, who own PJ's here, they actually have something cool happening right now. There's like this Wheel of Fortune wheel thing that when you buy your coffee or whatever,
wheel of discounts,
spin it and you will get a discount of some kind, and that is sponsored by Butterfly Kisses Alliance, which I had not heard of until today. And so it is a group of nurses who provide resources to families who have either miscarried or had like SIDS or lost an infant for one reason, because that's such a traumatic thing. So they're providing resources to them. So they are partnering with PJ's. They didn't pay for any of that shout out, but I just think it's really cool what they're doing. And so you can learn more at butterflykissesalliance.org.
Yeah,
as well.
They did pay for 10% of my
there you go.
my beignet. So I'm appreciative of them for that. But mostly I'm appreciative of them for what they're doing for those women in need.
I've got some close friends who just went through a miscarriage.
Yeah.
So I mean, it hits home.
They
It
really
happens
need the support
a lot there. Okay, so we've got like I said, we've got multiple candidates still going to be with us here throughout the last 50 minutes or so that we're going to be out here. I'm going to hang around a few minutes after the show. People want to come out and say hi and chat. I'd love to do that. Already met, a number of folks who listen to us every day and came up, and it was fantastic to put names with or faces with names and online handles, so they could put a face with my name. And I apologize for the face, but it's the best I can do to do this. But
the one God gave you.
I'm doing the best I can with what I got here. But here's the thing: is a coffee shop is such a, like, for instance, Bob Onder still here, hanging out and answering questions as well. But what's great about something like this is, regardless of whether it's local, state, we had State Representative Tony Lovasco here a little bit earlier, is that this is the chance where you can get very, very real.
Yes.
Like, I just mentioned, we've got Gwendolyn Goki running for judge. And if you have questions about her judicial philosophy, you can come up right now and ask her the questions.
Yeah, she's sitting here waiting for
about
you
that.
to talk
So
to you.
you can do that. I'm looking at her flyer right now. So you can check in with that because they're here. And the coffee shop is a great environment for something like that, because let's be honest, this is political silly season. This is political nutty season,
and the ads are kind of out of control. You got the PACs saying one thing or another, and who knows if it's true or not. But yeah, when you actually sit down with a candidate, you can talk to them. It's pretty awesome. I think the coffee shop is to America what the pub is to England. Right?
That's right.
That's kind of where we get together and we can be real with one another.
And I have patronized a couple of pubs in the UK, not in England, but in the UK. Myself, I have been to a couple of those, and those are a lot of fun that's happening here. All right, so again, we're going to talk with Joe Brazel from St. Charles County, because there's a lot going on here in St. Charles County. As a matter of fact, one of his opponents actually just stopped by as well.
He just said hi.
So if you want to talk to both of them, you can do that as well. But obviously, with all the ads that are happening, and one of the things that happens during this season is you try to sow confusion if you're running for office, and that is so frustrating. That's what happens in a political race, and Republicans do it, Democrats do it. It's all strategy. Tim Jones likes to talk about the consultant class.
Yes,
they get paid to win.
Yeah,
that's what they do. They don't even have to be ideologically married to whatever the candidate is. They just get paid to win. They're mercenaries.
Right.
And then you can take that as good or bad.
Yes.
If you've got somebody you really want in office, who fights for your issues, You want somebody who's going to help them win. The trade-off on that is that you get the mailings and you get the video ads, you get the radio ads that obfuscate or take liberties with the truth.
Yes.
Now, I was talking with Nick Schroer yesterday. He was in co-hosting with Tony, and he was kind of saying, man, he goes, these PACs, he goes, there's just no accountability for them. Sometimes they're saying the truth, sometimes they're taking liberties, sometimes they're twisting things. But we mentioned, why don't we stop them? And Nick had the right answer to that. He said, if we get into where government says you can't say something, then you are into serious First Amendment territory. And do you want government saying your campaign can't say this or can't say that? So as frustrated as we get with all of that, here's one of the things that I would say is incumbent on us. And that is that we have to be more diligent and look past the ads and do the research for ourselves. That's how we neuter negative, dishonest campaigning.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of reading the Twitter headlines for some tweet out there somewhere and just going with that as truth. You can't do that.
No,
you can't, especially in this environment.
And then listen, some of the ads that we're going to hear, some of them are absolutely true.
Yeah.
Some others not so much, but it's up to us to do our own due diligence. We're responsible for our votes.
Yes.
That's one of the things that, I hear a lot is media's bias. They're trying to affect the election, which is true.
Yes.
But they only affect the election as long as people choose not to dig deeper.
Yes. If you allow yourself to be affected, then you will be.
The most dangerous thing to the establishment, the most dangerous thing to to the swamp, if you will, is an informed voter. So what I'd like to see spread is the good virus of educated voters.
Absolutely, my goodness, and I think that starts with a bit of skepticism.
Right.
So whenever you see a headline, whenever somebody makes a truth claim, whenever somebody says something about even themselves or somebody else, the first thing you ought to say is to yourself is that true?
Right.
And then go find out.
Right. I am glad now here at the same time, when I hear some of these PAC ads, the attacks on each other, and people say they hate them, but the reality is they work.
They work.
But one thing that dawned on me, Gabe, and I know we just got a minute or so left here, is that we wonder why more good people don't run for office.
Yeah.
Well, why would you subject yourself to that? So the people who do step up and run, listen, appreciate that. Now, question them, hold their feet to the fire.
Yes.
They're asking for a job. They're asking to go on, in many cases, the public dime for their salary. Other times they're asking to do it for free. If they are bad for our communities, then hold up the fire and be hard on them just like you would anybody else. But be fair.
Yes.
Be fair. All right. We've got a number of candidates still here to chat with. Jane Puszkar from the Francis House School District just walked in. I think I'm gonna ask her to come on over here in just a couple of minutes, right after this next segment, and then of course Joe Brazel from the St. Charles County Council is going to be with us as well. So, by the way, if you're watching this on social media, like on Rumble, do the thing, everybody.
Hit the thumbs up.
Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like thing.
Share it.
Let's do that. And if you are in West County here, you're in the O'Fallon area, we're going to be here for about we're going to be on the air for 45 minutes, but I'm going to stick around for just a little bit. Love to say hi. Come on out to PJ's Coffee. If nothing else, the coffee is really, really good.
So good.
As well. So this is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Let's talk with Jane Puszkar just ahead, right before Joe Brazel here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
I've had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
Re-elect State Representative Tony Lovasco. Tony Lovasco eliminated licenses for home-based businesses. Tony Lovasco, rated 100% by the American Conservative Union. Tony Lovasco, the only candidate endorsed by Missouri Right to Life and by the NRA. Tony Lovasco, the only choice for small, limited government. On August 6th, vote Liberty. Vote Lovasco.
I'm Tony Lovasco, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Citizens for Lovasco. Dan Rakers, Treasurer.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Biden's border crisis, China buying our farmland, Sam Page disrespecting our seniors. We're under attack. It's time to fight. I'm David Gregory. I created a law that authorizes Missouri to detain illegal immigrants. I've never voted for China to buy Missouri farmland, and I sued Sam Page to give our seniors their tax freeze. I'm David Gregory. I'm already fighting for you as your next state senator.
Paid for by Gregory for Missouri. Joe Garavaglia, Treasurer.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Eigel. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump-endorsed Bill Eigel for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
News, analysis,
I'm glad you're talking about this.
Opinion.
I'm glad you're fired up about it, too, because I know I am.
News Talk STL.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Does the countdown to Election Day feel like to you, Gabe, the wait for the big party or the march towards the guillotine?
Well, I think it probably depends on what district you're in, and depending on our listening area, probably depends on what state you're in.
For instance, Huck's mom on Rumble lamented. Huck's mom is in the 1st district.
Yes.
And just lamenting that it's going to be, somebody on the far left. That's Cori Bush's district currently.
Yeah.
And I feel for you.
That's my district.
That's
so, yes,
because
it's definitely a march to the guillotine.
And it was my district up until the last redistricting, and my street got moved from 1st to the 2nd district.
Yes.
So that was a pleasant surprise, for me. But I really feel for you if that's where you're at. I get it. But that's why all these elections actually still matter so much.
Absolutely.
All right, it is 8:19 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Joey V. Got Gabe here at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon. We're out here on just off of Route K. Come on out and say hi. Joined now by Jane Puszkar from the Francis Howell School District. And Jane, great to see you again. It's been a while since we ran into each other.
Yeah, it really has. It's good to see you too, Mike.
When I ever see your name in the headlines.
Always, yes.
Yeah, I'm just,
I'm keeping a low profile.
Right. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch, not exactly your best friend.
No, not at all.
Not exactly a fan. And I wanted to straighten out their absolute horrendous coverage of what's happening in the school board. Because we're talking about, for instance, the curriculum when it comes to, DEI and Black history and all of those sorts of things. When I'm reading in between the lines and looking at the document that you actually are talking about, nobody is saying you're not going to teach Black history.
No,
I have not seen a
And
single thing that says that.
That was a fallacy that got started.
Right.
That when we moved the CRT from the curriculum,
Right.
that we weren't going to teach Black history and Black literature. In fact, I'm very proud of the fact that we are one of the few districts in the entire area that have Black history and Black literature courses. A lot of them don't.
Right. Yeah, and of course, by the time the Post Dispatch and Channel 4 and Channel 5 and all of those get a hold of it all, it's basically erasing Black people from history, and it's one step away from segregating schools again. And to me, it's nonsense and laughable. But the thing is that people read it and believe that crap.
Some of them do, yes, unfortunately, because they don't search out the other side.
Yeah.
They keep claiming that we're trying to whitewash history, and that's not what we're doing. We're trying to give a fair and balanced view of history and not all one-sided. We're trying to unite kids and not divide them like the Marxist theory of CRT and DEI do.
Now, are you guys tackling all of the gender nonsense issues and the sexualizing
Oh, yes, sir.
of our children and all that stuff as well?
Yes, sir. We actually have a policy that we're going to have up for a vote, for a read, 6116, human sexuality, which basically stops the activist teachers from indoctrinating kids. And I don't know that there's a lot of those kind of teachers out there, but when they do exist, they do some real harm. So we have a policy that's going to stop that, and we're real happy to get that moving.
It seems to me, Jane, that the big question comes down to what is the role of this particular government? And people forget, school districts are government. So what is the role of the school district when it comes to these types of issues? There's a clear mandate in the state. Every child is entitled to an education. Now, what that looks like as far as public or private or whatever, that's the state legislature can debate on that. But when it comes to these issues, social issues, racial issues, sexual issues, what's the right role of the local school district in teaching whatever that it is?
I'm assuming when you say school district, you actually mean the school board.
The school, I mean, the setting that curriculum, because what you're being asked is what should you be doing as far as the information that you're putting in? And that starts with what should you be addressing and what should you not be addressing?
Our basic role in the district is to put forth policy that goes in line with the values and the beliefs that we were elected by. Basically, our role is to oversee what's being taught to our kids, how they're being treated, and to try to stop the bullying and make it a friendly environment for a child to learn how to be there to learn. Unfortunately, in this day and time, it's not always easy. There's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of just things that happen now that didn't happen during my, I guess, at the time that I was growing up. But this board is really focused on doing the things that are right for the kids. And unfortunately, we've got some things that are some forces, let's say, some of the unions that don't like what we're doing and will fight us head on for some of that stuff. But I do know that we will prevail.
Well, aside from the, like Mike said, those big hot button issues, the racial things, the sexual education things, the gender things, what are the other issues that are kind of particularly rising to the top that you have to tackle in your district?
One thing that we're always concerned about is keeping up our math and science scores. We do have advanced placement courses. We've got a program where kids can go to the junior college while they're in high school and get college credit. Some of them can get up to a year or more of college credit, which
Yeah,
puts them on very
I got
good
a few
standing.
of those in the 80s. I actually got my math credits in college through a similar program.
Right. So those things we're constantly looking at. And the other thing that we look at constantly, finances. It's always about the money. Yeah. So, we've had some challenges in that area too, but I know that this board and the superintendent are focused on making everything transparent to our patrons and to all the taxpayers in the district. We've, I guess, straightened out some of the Prop S funds, and we've debunked some of the myths that went along with the Prop S. We believe we're on the right track to spend those funds wisely and to do what's best for the kids. We're doing some, we revamped a lot of the playgrounds in the district, which was a big hit with the parents. We've got vestibules, security vestibules in the schools now, which we didn't have before. We've put on a lot of good things that I'm proud of.
Describe what those are. We talk about the vestibules. Just kind of for people, what's the Cliff Notes of what those are?
Okay, it's like the entry before the entry. You're blocked entry into the school district unless you can present identification or some reason why you should be there. It's basically keeping out unreliable, well, I guess fours that you know what I'm talking. I don't want to say the word. But keep out illegal people that are there to do kids harm.
So basically an extra layer of security and protection, because the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, tragically, we have to consider things like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Things that we didn't have to consider
Right.
before. I'm forgetting my question, but
Well, here, let me
jump in.
You can bring it back
Yeah.
here in a second.
I'm thinking about beignets.
Let me ask about the general picture. I mean, we talked about the curriculum, we talked about the money, we talked about all that. School districts and school boards have become so politicized, and I'm going to lay some of the blame with the activists. I'm going to lay some of the blame with the teachers' unions personally, but I'm also going to lay a lot of the blame with my industry and the media. So when we talk about the politicization of the schools, I mean, this goes back to that old quote, he who controls the schools controls the next generation, and that's been attributed to 3, 4, 5 different people. I don't actually know who actually said it, but is there a way we can depoliticize this instead of saying every year the politics of your school is up for election, as opposed to let's elect people who are going to keep the districts out of that and just educate the kids?
Well, Mike, it's funny that you bring that up because you call it politicization, but I actually call it shining a light on some of the things that have been going on. Up until now, for the last 20 or more years, we haven't had anybody to stand up for the kids and take the things that out of the school district. And you know as well as I know that people don't like change. And so whenever you have change, you're going to have that resistance. And that resistance, well, the politicization is what you're calling it, and I can go along with that.
Well, and it's awful that we have to fight back to reclaim the schools from that sort of activism.
Yeah.
But we weren't watching.
Yeah,
we weren't watching. I mean, parents are involved now, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I was never involved in the school district until I started hearing some of the things I didn't like, and I went to investigate them and found out they were actually true.
I think it's one of the only silver linings that came out of the shutdowns and the COVID shutdowns in 2020. People got a window into the classroom and they didn't like what they saw. But I do remember my question now. Sometimes my ADD gets the best of me.
I suffer from
he's buzzing off the coffee and beignets is what's happening.
I have so much sugar. But the funding issue. One of the things that I've noticed, and we've seen lots of these trend lines that show administration has been taking a larger and larger chunk of the funds over actual in classroom resources over time. Is the board looking to do anything to sort of curb that exponential growth of the sort of administrative sort of piece of education over the actual practical application of knowledge?
The board members that we have now look through every budget and every expense that's being made, and our goal is always to make sure that those funds are spent wisely. Yes, we are, and yes, we have, and that's how you're leading back to the Prop S. That's how the whole debacle got started in the first place, because the board was not paying attention, and unfortunately, when that happens, people go off and do whatever it is that they want to do, and not what's good for the district. So that's how we ended up there.
We've talked about some of the things that since you and the more conservative majority got onto the board, where we've come from when you got elected to where we are now. What's the next step? We've gone from point A to point B. What's from point B to point C would be successful in your view?
That point would be to keep the conservative majority, because we're only 2 votes away from turning it back to a 4-3 majority for the liberal side. So our goal is to make sure that people understand what it is that we've accomplished, what it is that we're looking at, what it is we're keeping an eye on for their kids and doing what's best for them, and make sure that they know, so that in the hopes that they will get out and vote in April, which, as you know, is a hard time to get people out to vote.
Well, and the media onslaught is going to be brutal. Probably right after the dust settles off the November elections, it's immediately going to start in on the April elections. And, I am proud of what we've done at this radio station, constantly saying, listen, the April elections matter. Don't discover it a week or two before. Mm-hmm. You need to be recruiting and researching your candidates now and supporting the good ones, which is why I've only talked to him a few times, but Francis Howell Families has done a phenomenal job.
And we really appreciate all the light that you shine on trying to get people out, because it's that complacency that will lead us astray once again. But you guys have done a really great job too.
Appreciate it.
All right, website, social media. People want to follow what you're doing, but they want to be involved, because there may be somebody who says, "All right, Jane, you sold me. I want to get involved. What do I do?"
FHSDschools.org. You can go there. You can live stream the board meetings. You can send us emails. All of our emails are there. Mine is Jane Puszkar at FHSDschools.org. please feel to reach out. My phone number is 636-866-1510. I'm always interested to hear from patrons and find out what's on their mind.
That's a real number out on the radio.
That's right.
She's for real.
All right. Hey, Jane, great to see you again.
Great
Thanks
to
so
see you
much.
too, Mike.
Thanks, Jane.
All right. We're in St. Charles County here, and we've got Joe Brazel from the St. Charles County Council going to give us an update on what's happening here in just about 2.5 minutes here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Gabe and I are at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon off Route K, and man, you hear all this activity. There's a lot of people getting the question, the people running for office who are in office. Stop on by and grab yourself a beignet.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Quick-hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point, so now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid, too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight, and then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary.
The climate cultists are mad that the remake of Twisters doesn't have enough climate change messaging. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Leftists are always outraged about something. Nothing is ever politically correct enough for them, and they'll find a way to be offended by anything, including feel-good movies. Enter New York Times opinion contributor Margaret Renkel, who was not happy with a lack of activism in the newly released remake of the movie Twisters. According to her, the remake of the 1996 film missed an opportunity to message the threat of climate change. She also lamented the filmmakers' decision to cater to, quote, mega politicians by not making the film more about climate change activism. These climate cultists really hate lighthearted entertainment, don't they? They can't stand the fact that most people want to go to the movies to laugh, to smile, and to be entertained. We are sick of the woke lecturing and sick of the doomsday climate change drumbeat. Leave us and our movies alone, lady. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Hey, it's Columbo for Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Capriati's is famous for setting themselves apart due to their dedication to superior quality and ingredients like slow-roasted, hand-pulled whole turkey and American Wagyu straight from Snake River Farms. That dedication to superior quality is evident from the very first bite into a Capriati sandwich. Visit Capriati's Sandwich Shop 7 days a week at the corner of Manchester and McKnight in Rock Hill and get more info, including how to impress at your next event with their great catering at capriatis.com.
I'm Jim Bolin, running to represent West St. Louis County in the Missouri Senate. Growing up in Texas County, my dad always said, all hat and no cattle, about those who talk big but do little. I built a successful business, cleaned up City Hall as mayor, and now I'm ready to clean up Jefferson City. We need to jail repeat offenders, stop taxpayer funding for illegals, cut taxes, protect our children, and defend our liberties from the radical left. I'm Jim Bolin, and I would appreciate your vote on August the 6th. Let's get it done.
Paid for by Bolin from Missouri. Cindy Samagi, treasurer.
Loyalty means a lot at Ackerman Toyota. That's why during COVID, Ackerman refused to charge over sticker price, while others did. Ackerman stayed true to their customers, selling at or below manufacturer-suggested prices. Ackerman will get you what you want, and the service department has the same spirit. You come first. And thank you for making Ackerman Toyota number one in 2023. Ackerman Toyota, AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
Tired of talk about election integrity? Shane Scholler takes action. As the chief election authority in one of Missouri's largest counties, Shane's proven plan stops non-citizens from voting and secures our elections. A lifelong conservative, Shane stands firm, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and ready to protect your vote on day one. Don't just talk about stopping fraud. Elect someone who's done it. Shane Scholler for Secretary of State. Learn more at shaneforsos.com.
Paid for by Scholler from Missouri, Justin Hill, Treasurer.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the Morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Colombo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning here on News Talk STL.
Just one thing I want to mention before we get into chatting with Joe Brazel here from the St. Charles County Council. We just talked to Jane Puszkar from the Francis House School District, and on Rumble, Vicky just typed in a very simple statement, but it was actually really profound, and I've already responded. She said, I could not put up with the disrespect that she puts up with on the school board.
Oh, wow.
That is so true. I've been, for instance, chatting with Mark Onder, also on the school board in the area, and just about anybody who tries to fight for something that's that's correct, that is fact-based, you are going to deal with those kinds of attacks. And that goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, Gabe. Why don't we get more good people wanting to run for office and serve?
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the reasons for it. And so I responded on Rumble and just said, yeah, it takes a special kind of thick skin to serve these days.
Absolutely.
You should have thick skin to answer questions, be transparent.
Just in general,
You should be willing to take tough questions.
Yeah. Defend your position.
They should always be fair questions, and that's what we don't get a lot of.
No, you get a lot of dragging through the mud and family issues. I would not want to put my family through what happens in elections these days.
Right. So that's why we don't have Gabe for president 2024 right
That's
now.
why.
Because basically Janet would be like, I know where you live. I know where you sleep. I know how to end you if you try.
Exactly.
All right. It's 8:37 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here. Joey V's with us as well out here. PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, just off of Route K. Joined now by Joe Brazel from the St. Charles County Council. Appreciate you coming out, Joe. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, so we, obviously there's a lot going on with any county council that you're dealing with. The elections this year, when you're talking about St. Charles County, you're obviously talking about budget, you're talking about taxes. You're also talking about development as well, because, frankly, people are trying to flee St. Louis County. And one of the places they're going here is in St. Charles. So when you look at the challenges that you and the council have to deal with as far as planning and public services and infrastructure and all of that, what are the top things people are voting on as far as issues when they're voting on you as candidates?
For my district, District 2 is southwest St. Charles County, which is south of 40, south of 70.
Yeah.
Growth is the biggest issue. And I started in the 90s. Me and a group of people sued St. Charles County over growth issues. Back then, the HBA just would nod their head at council meetings and just write their own ordinances. It was unbelievable.
HBA being just
Home Builders Association.
There you go. Okay.
And so, and they don't. I don't get money from developers, but so in St. Charles County, what we have here is we had in the last 2 years 180% increase in apartments. Okay. We have we have a master plan. It's the 2030 master plan, and what we do is we try to follow the master plan. By state law, you got to submit it every 10 years. And the problem with O'Fallon and Wentzville is our annexation laws. There's 114 counties in the state of Missouri, and 4 counties, they changed the law to make annexations a lot easier in one of those counties. It's 0172 and 0174 state statutes. And O'Fallon can just annex as much ground as they want without going to unincorporated county. And so this thing that just came up on Tall Tree and on Highway DD, we have a 3 and 5 acre minimum in southwest St. Charles County, and people move out there because of that reason, because we want the rural area and we want the beauty of the country, and we're the oldest wine district in the United States. And so what happened is they annexed it, and they're doing this high density subdivision, and then there's another piece that's a little bit farther, and they threatened to annex that. So we took that development, which I voted no for because I thought we could fight it in court, but our council voted in favor of it. And so the development is a huge thing, huge. And so the taxes, when you say growth, or you're trying to get the money, the growth does not pay for itself. It's a zero-sum game. It's a loser, okay? The people who move out here, we all came from somewhere else because we like this place better, right? Well, the people who are running a lot of these municipalities are doing the same stuff that they did in the other place that they left. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you went here to make it better, but then you're making it the way where you lived, and that's the problem. People don't want the density. They don't want the traffic. And the schools are overloaded, and that's a huge issue in our district.
It sounds like a kind of crazy balancing act, trying to keep the character of a place while still encouraging, because you want some growth, right? You don't want to completely stifle.
And there's a supply and demand issue as well.
You want growth. That is absolutely correct, and that's why you submit a master plan. The state requires you to submit a master plan every 10 years. To control the growth. So if you and the master plan is put together by about 30 residents. It's a 2-year process. They're working on it now for the 2040 master plan. So what we do in the county is we try to follow the master plan. We mostly do. Okay. So like Highway N, for instance, everything south of that, let's say it's 4 homes per acre. Then you get a little farther and it's 3 acre lots. Then you get farther, it's 5 acre lots. And that's what you follow. But when you start breaking that, you're not following the plan. And you can't keep up with the infrastructure. And as you all know, the traffic in this county is worse than it's ever been. Highway 40 is a jam all the time. Highway K is a mess. And it just isn't where it was. And I know things change, and I understand it. And I understand you want growth, but you want it to be smart growth. You want it to be controlled growth. And that has always been my stance.
It's interesting because we were just in Jeff County. Our last live was in that area, and they were having similar issues, talking about, okay, it looks like a lot of people are kind of trying to move out into our area. How do we do this in a smart way without stifling people, without stifling the growth, but not allowing it to just go willy-nilly, go wild?
And still respecting some property right issues as well.
Absolutely.
Well, Charles Grodick out there, he's a friend of mine, and we talk a lot, and he's got similar views I have on the same issues. It's like you have to control the growth. And a lot of times when you have people run for office, they run for false motives. Like, the guy running against me is a vice president of a construction company, and they build apartments and schools. And that's what they do. And he's no Fallon alderman. And that's what they do. They annex and they annex. They try to annex. You guys may or not know this, but Fallon tried to annex Bush's Wildlife. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They did that about 15, 18 years ago. They tried to annex Bush's Wildlife so they would have all the contiguous ground around so they could keep growing. But that started a huge
a little bit of a backlash there. Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is me trying to look at it from a regional perspective. Jefferson County and St. Charles County would, one, not be benefiting from the people who want to live in those communities, and also wouldn't be dealing with the challenges that come with it that you're dealing with if people weren't trying to escape St. Louis County so much,
right?
And the city
right.
of St. Charles.
Yeah.
So when you look at the middle of the sandwich there regionally here, what is it that everybody should be learning from what not to do in St. Louis County? Because if people were happy there and the government were keeping everybody content there, you wouldn't have this level of debate here in St. Charles County or in Jefferson County that they're dealing with there.
Mike, history repeats itself, right? And so if people took the time to realize what happened in St. Louis County to what's happening in St. Charles County, they would realize that you don't want the municipal alderman would understand that the explosive growth is not good. These 6,000, 8,000 square foot lots on top of each other by major highways and stuff, okay, maybe that's okay, right? But when you start transcending out into the more rural areas, you don't want that growth. You don't want that because we can't keep up with it. And the schools are overloaded too. Jane would tell you that, And so I don't know. It's problematic. And as you know, in St. Charles County and Missouri, I've talked about this many times. Everybody runs as a Republican. Everyone, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they're a Republican.
Right.
In St. Charles County, do you know there's not one Democrat? I don't believe one Democrat filed. You know that? So the primary is the election. Right. And I don't think a lot of people know that. So you have to vote in the primaries. And so the problem is you got all these folks that come from North St. Louis, Florissant, myself, and they keep their politics when they run for office out here the same as they did when they were in the city. And people out here, they just don't want that.
Yeah.
You know,
oddly enough, it kind of sounds like what's happening with people fleeing California and New York to Texas and Florida.
Right.
So you end up with these concentrations of people with the wrong views. They're trying to implement things that they escaped in the area that they've arrived in.
Exactly. It's the same thing like California going to Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful here, and then they start bringing their California perspective.
Let's
and
build
then
them all.
And then they ruin it. Oh, it's funny. Like, oh, look at this beautiful hillside. Look at this great view, man. Oh, man, we should build a hotel here. What? You're ruining the reason why it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's unbelievable. Like these cities, if you notice, like when I started, believe it or not, in 2000, I've been a county councilor for 24 years. I hate to say it, but I'm that guy. Okay? But I did a tree preservation ordinance. 25% of all trees have to be saved. I'm very conservative, but I'm also an environmentalist. And so we have a tree preservation ordinance. We have a stream bank protection ordinance. You got to have a 25-foot setback. And that keeps the sedimentation going into Peru Creek, keeping Lake St. Louis clean. And so I did a lot of these other things that make our community really beautiful. If you notice some of these municipalities, they'll buy 100 acres, just wipe it down.
Mm-hmm.
Knock down all the trees and just destroy the ground, right?
Build straight up to the waterfront.
I mean, humans are the worst when it comes to environmental, right? They just ruin it. And it's like, come on, guys, put some thought into this development,
So you're a conservationist as opposed to an environmentalist.
Is that what it is?
I think there's a difference there, yeah.
There is a difference in conservation. Yeah, environmentalist is like
they worship Gaia.
Yeah, really.
The spirit of the earth.
Yeah, no, thanks for the correction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, conservation is you just want to keep the place beautiful.
Yeah, keep it nice. And I mean, everyone, you don't want to cut down all these 200-year-old oak trees and just wipe the ground to barren. I mean, it's just, and so we have a lot of good ordinances in our county. And that's another reason why Southwest St. Charles County and St. Charles County is a good place to live.
Okay, we just got about a minute or so I don't know if you can answer this question in a minute or so, but we just got one on Rumble saying, wanted to ask you about Bibb. 3 to 5 acres, O'Fallon and Wentzville are somehow getting around the plan and annexing. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
I don't know what that question is.
The annexation laws are not good for St. Charles County. We need to change them through the state because they can annex ground. It's supposed to be 50% contiguous, and there's other methods they can annex ground, and that's a huge problem. And my opponent is huge on growth. He says I'm non-compromising. No, I'm following our master plan, okay? And that's the people in Southwest St. Charles County, that's what their expectations are, because that's why they move out there. And so that's the biggest issue, besides the fact I'm conservative, and and so I'm very conservative, and I believe in liberty and freedom at the fullest, And as a councilman, a lot of my biggest job is pushing back the bureaucracy in our county. And so, yeah.
All right. Website, social media, anything like that?
Citizensforjoebrowser.com.
Oh, easy enough.
Yeah.
Easy enough. All right, Joe. Appreciate stopping by, man. Thanks.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Okay,
Questions.
bye-bye.
All right. We're just about wrapping up here at PJ's Coffee, but I'm going to stick around for a couple extra minutes here. So if you want to say hi, I'm here. Boy, we got candidates and office holders. Basically, you can't throw a beignet without hitting a candidate or an office holder.
Yes, powder sugar everywhere.
Exactly. So if you want to come question them, they are here at PJ's Coffee in O'Fallon, right off Route K. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Something's got a hold of me now. It's a feeling, burning like a love on fire.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I think I can make it through the night. I think I'm in love, and my life's a go. I think I'm in love.
Dreaming of upgrading your outdoor space? STL Fenceworks is the choice for you. Our skilled craftsmen build custom fences from modern vinyl to classic ornamental, fitting your style and budget. Elevate your outdoor living with low-maintenance decks designed to relax and entertain. We choose only top-quality American-made materials, ensuring your project is built to last. Your satisfaction is our passion. With over 50 years of experience, custom designs, and exceptional customer service, visit stlfenceworks.com today.
Attention thrill seekers and fun lovers. Did you know the Midwest's largest wooden roller rink is right here in Missouri? Welcome to Piccadilly Palace, your ultimate family entertainment destination. Glide across our massive skating floor, conquer arcade challenges, put your way through mini golf, and dive into cutting-edge virtual reality experiences. And coming soon, a relaxing bar and grill patio, state-of-the-art golf simulators, and heart-pounding two-story go-kart racing next to East Central College in Union, Missouri. Plan your visit now at PiccadillyPalace.com. That's PiccadillyPalace.com.
Get ready for a tourism transformation. Candidate for Lieutenant Governor, David Wassinger has a vibrant vision to make St. Louis shine. From the Gateway Arch to Forest Park and beyond, Wassinger is committed to making St. Louis a top travel destination. Meet and hear David Wassinger speak this Thursday, August 1st at 7 p.m. at 3710 Hampton Avenue. Learn more about this free event at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Hey, sand volleyball junkies. Feel the rush and show off your skills for our brave first responders. Join the David Dorn Foundation's Top Gun Maverick Sand Volleyball Fundraiser Tournament, Saturday, August 31st. Enjoy Oh So Good Barbecue from Sugarfire, a splat gun tent for an energy charge, and DJ Peasy Montana to keep you entertained. Saturday, August 31st at the Sugarfire location in Wentzville. To protect, to serve, to spike. Sign up today at dornfoundation.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Thursday, we're going to wrap up the show with current state senator and candidate for governor in Missouri, Bill Eigel, joins us at 10:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Danny Define here with the Next Gen, all new time, Sundays at 8 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. Now back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Okay, talk about a fortuitous liner
Yes,
there.
indeed,
Exactly.
indeed.
Okay.
How about that for timing, huh?
Exactly.
I'm all over the place. You can't get rid of me. Nope. Bad penny.
out here at PJ's Coffee, which we're wrapping up here. This has been so much fun with PJ's. This has been great. John and Jennifer have been wonderful hosts here on at PJ's in O'Fallon at Route K, just off Route K. I'm going to be here. I'm going to hang out for a little bit after the show. I know you got to get.
I got to go
else.
sign some rockets, but I'm going to grab some food before I leave.
That's absolutely so.
No big deal. No big deal.
This place is full, and there's a lot of people who are asking for your vote who are in the building right now. So come on out and say hi. It's been a really good time. The coffee is excellent. And listen, if the coffee were just average, I'd say, hey, they've got good coffee, but boy, what a great amount. This is really good coffee.
Yeah. How many mgs of caffeine are you pushing right now?
Too many.
This is too convenient. You have the look at all this great coffee.
I'm buzzing, and I got a sugar high too on top of it from having the beignets, and I'm going to get some more, by the way, going back in.
And
Breakfast of Champions.
I'm grabbing some for Stell as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so Danny Define from Next Gen, which you can hear every weekend here, and we'll remind everybody because you got a new time as well. Earlier today, Danny, I don't know if you heard it because it was a couple hours ago, we're doing these series of introducing the candidates to people, especially on these races where people will show up and like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, there's like 15 candidates.
Yeah,
and
the Secretary of State's race is one of those. And, I would say probably the top two competing right now are Senator Denny Hoskins and Greene County Clerk Shane Scholler. That really, if you believe the polling, those are the two that are at the highest level of polling. A lot of people undecided. But probably the one who's gotten the most national attention is Valentina Gomez. And I just flat out said, listen, if you look at her social media, she's nuts. Okay,
Well,
she's insane.
I guess we'll uncover some more.
Tell us what you really think, Mike.
Okay, but you've got her on your show this weekend.
She's going to be joining me Sunday night, 8 p.m. on the Next Gen, live in studio.
Yeah.
So Valentina, I don't know a whole lot about her besides the videos, of course, that have gone viral. We live in an age now, Mike, of attention. If you can grab attention, good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to make some headways. And she has a lot of momentum right now. A lot of people talking again, whether it's good or bad.
Talking.
They're talking. But that is with this instant light speed information, these viral videos, everything going on right now on Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, it's a bold strategy. I'll say that. It's a bold strategy. It's a bold strategy. But hey, throw some Hail Marys and we'll see what happens. But we're going to find out a lot more about Valentina Sunday night. I'm interested to talk to her.
Oh, it's going to be colorful.
Now, is there any real value to basically the influencer candidates? Because we're seeing a rise of that with social media, right?
Well, we'll find out Tuesday how everything shakes out, right? That'll definitely give us some more clarity. But again, in this age that we live in, where information is so accessible and news and video, they spread so quickly. Look at the Hawk Tuah girl.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah, she's like a multimillionaire now for 15 seconds of a viral video. So Valentina, she's brand new to all this, and I think she's throwing some Hail Marys right now and clearly getting a lot of engagement, a lot of views with her content.
Yeah, there are, and there's that's an interesting where I don't think we fully understand that impact and strategy because social media has been around for a decade or so now, but I think it's still in its infancy. We don't know where it goes from here.
Yeah. And as far as those traditional rules of how it used to be, that went out the window back in 2015. We've been in silly season now for almost 10 years. So the traditional rules and standards don't apply. We're in uncharted waters.
All right. So the Next Gen is when on News Talk STL?
8 p.m. this Sunday. So every Sunday at 8 p.m. live in studio. And tune in this Sunday because Valentina's going to be on. It's going to be a fun time.
Which is going to be something.
Yes, sir. I imagine there are going to be some clips. Joey, you're gonna make some clips out of this.
He's like, oh hell yes.
I might have to grab a bag of PJ's coffee because I want to be caffeinated for that one. That's going to be.
I still don't think you're going to keep up.
Man,
that's going to be so. She's going to be actually live in studio.
Oh yeah, she wants to come in live.
Oh
heck
yeah,
we're doing it live.
Doing it live. All right, Danny, good chat with you again, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely, guys.
And we're still out here at PJ's Coffee. I'm going to hang out for a little bit as well. So if you're heading on to work or just heading around and you're nearby, stop by and say hi. Thanks to PJ's Coffee, John and Jennifer for hosting us here on 119-94.1 News Talk STL.
Hi, this is former St. Louis County Police Chief Tim Fitch. I am proud to endorse my friend Mark Harder for State Senate District 15. Other local leaders endorsing Mark include Chesterfield Mayor Bob Nation, Baldwin Mayor Tim Pogue, Eureka Mayor Sean Flower, and Ellisville Mayor Mike Romerman, among many others. They know what I know, that Mark is the type of conservative leader we need in Jefferson City. Mark Harder, the right choice for State Senate 15 and my choice. Vote smarter, vote harder in the August 6th primary.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder. Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive